The week before, I think we had Seahawks, maybe?
We had Seahawks, and the week before, I think it was Thursday night, too. So I think it's been 3 weeks since.
No, we had 2 Oregon Friday games.
Oh, that's right. We had 2 Oregon Friday games, and the Seahawks.
And then a Seahawks Thursday, and I think we had a Seahawks Monday.
It's been a while. Look, that's all I'm saying.
You're right.
I don't even know what to do.
Let's throw a protest.
Where can I strike? The WNBA is potentially getting a work stoppage. Why not us?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Well, I've been fighting for 3 to 6 for years.
I know. No. Yeah, we know our value.
Here's the thing about that.
Oh, wait, we don't have value.
Yeah, we don't. But we like to think we do.
Yeah.
That is going all of my legwork to get that done.
Yeah.
And there has been some
some progress.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some movement on that front.
Knocking on that door for a decade.
No, not a decade. Only since Kim's been here.
Yeah. So 6 years.
Oh, has she been here that long?
Yeah, she's been here 6 years.
Not anymore.
No.
Because she is leaving.
Yeah. The fearless leader.
We're losing her.
Yeah, she's moving on.
She's moving to a winery.
Yeah, you can't beat wine country. And if you've ever heard her on our program drunk, you understand that we can't compete with wine country.
No.
Is it Santa Rosa? What are we supposed to do? We can't compete with Santa Rosa.
I think she's from down there, perhaps.
Yeah, she's got family down there.
Is that right?
Yeah. She's a Bay Area gal.
Well, listen, who cares about her? More importantly, we are going to have to start all over. Well, I am, because you don't join my fights.
No.
But
I keep my head down.
Well, I don't. And whoever is going to run this sinking ship
is going to hear from you.
Is going to hear about it.
You run a long line of lead host traditions of putting your leg up on something,
right.
a la Ian Furness, and letting them know.
If Furness did it, why can't I do it?
I do a lot of this. Good idea, boss. I'll be over here minding my own business.
At any rate, Kim is leaving us next month.
Yeah.
So we got to start all over. I want to get it to 3 to 6. I want all club 1080 3 to 6.
It'd be.
What do you guys think about that?
It'd be tasty. Good luck on that. I will silently support you from the back of the room.
Thanks. Someone might want some sports at some point. You might have to do it like an hour a week of sports.
Hey, tell those people to can it.
What if we did a combo show?
Isn't that what we do now?
I mean, yeah, it's really...
You know, people say that, but it's pretty sportsy.
Is it?
For the first 3 hours, it is.
Well,
is it?
I mean, when you look at the 4 hours total, the first segment is not sports. In the news is not sports. The club is not sports. So you're looking already at 7 out of 16 segments.
Look, it's a lot closer to 50-50 than you want to admit.
I want it 50-50. Maybe even 60-40.
Throwing a couple open seggies, and we're at 50-50.
Yeah, I love a good open seggy.
But as someone points out on the Vancouver Ford text line, Doug's basketball is right around the corner, boys. Right around the corner.
I have some bad news.
You sons of bitches. Are we doing a Big Ten thing now?
It's not my fault.
It is I thought you were fighting for us.
I am. I don't make game times.
Are we getting bumped to 9-10 for the Big Ten starts?
No. It's just that for the foreseeable future, they're all late game starts.
I would have thought with some of the Big Ten road games.
Well, they're not in the Big Ten until January.
What do you mean they're not? Oh, well, non-con. Yeah.
So the non-conference schedule so far, at least of the game times that are out, believe me, I've looked at this.
I was going to say, I expect you to be up on these sorts of things.
Well, I am. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I don't like that.
They're all late starts.
It's no good. It's no good. Well, sports.
I guess we got to work.
All right. 20 hours. Let's do this. Somehow. You know what? I'm just going to grind my face off. I'm going to be like a secret agent man. I'm just grinding my face off this whole week for you.
I was too busy grinding my absolute face off.
That's what I'm going to do.
I'm looking at the notes here. They've never been. It's so long. The notes are so
I don't even know where do you start.
Where do you start?
I don't know.
Where does one start? I know where we can start.
There's a lot.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You know whose birthday it is today? Not mine.
No. I know when your birthday is.
When's Buck's birthday?
I don't know. What is old Buckley?
Any guesses?
I got to put that on my phone. You look like a March kid.
Close.
Because March is pretty...
Feb 3rd, right after Groundhog's Day.
Oh, all right.
So you used to be kind of Super Bowl and your birthday, but now they've moved the Super Bowl out.
It's been moved enough, but like when I was growing up, almost every year I had a Super Bowl birthday party where like friends would come over, we would gamble on props and squares, and that started,
Makes sense.
My dalliances with gambling started early around my birthdays.
I love that.
Yeah. Like to see that you've really rounded into your degenerate form.
And my friends would get kind of ticked off because 2 years in a row I won my own pool.
Well, I mean, hey, man, it's not rigged.
It doesn't look great, but
your Super Bowl party, you won the pool.
Yeah, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, Does the Super Bowl hosts? Are they always in the game?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's my birthday, so I get to do what I want.
Well, but again, it's like fair. You can't help. It's a.
The way we used to do it is like
the Super Bowl.
Everyone would get a prop sheet, and you had to pick 20 props, and whoever got the most right would take that home. And so there's no way I could. Yeah,
I doubt that the NFL is in on some sort of conspiracy for Ryan Buckley's birthday squares. I mean, for God's sakes!
Today is the birthday of one J. Joseph Harrington.
Oh!
46 years old. Young buck. Wait.
That's me.
Is that how old you are?
Me and Joey.
Dun, dun.
Both old. I'm a lot grayer than he is and balder and less handsome, and that just is depressing.
Well.
You rarely have good questions.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah.
But he turns 46 today, and I got to tell you missed out on a big party.
Yeah, I was not allowed to be there.
Friday night.
I was up north getting screwed over.
Well, I want to hear about this.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready. You ever anyway?
You ever been to a Turkish prison?
It was close. There was close to having violence.
I heard they got you the wrong.
It was really, really bad. Really, really bad. Let me just say for the record.
Can we say what you were doing?
Yeah, you can say what I was doing. So there was a Washington State EV credit. When my kids graduate college, I have always leased them. I leased my daughter a car, and my son will graduate in a couple months. And the Washington State had an EV credit for EVs. So I was going to lease him a car, and then I was going to drive it for a few months. And then when he graduated, that was like a nice little incentive for him. And so we went up north into the wonders of Bellevue, and we're going to lease my son a car, and then I was going to have to co-sign for it because, you're a college kid, you don't have any credit. And let me just state for the record that Audi of Bellevue is the worst car dealership in the history of mankind.
Oh, no.
And that entire place can kiss my rosy red ass.
Right in the butt.
Did you get a car, or
No.
did you tell him to shove it?
It is hands down the worst experience I have ever had. And I said, I will do everything in my power to spread the word about what an absolute pile of dog s.
Right there live on the radio.
Your dealership is. So everyone affiliated with that, do not go there. That is the worst group of people I have ever encountered in my entire life.
Spicy indeed.
Yes. 6 hours worth of train rides, right? 3 hours on a train up.
Okay, so you went to pick up a car.
Went to pick up a
car. And they sent you the wrong car, right?
And then it got worse.
Yeah.
And it just went from there. And it just it went worse and worse and worse and worse. And their big apology after spending 5.5 hours in their dealership, after spending 3 hours on a train ride up and 3 hours on a train ride back, the manager bought my $30 train ticket home and then sent me a text message and said, just send it to Safe Travels! ! Kiss my ass.
Hey, your ticket was only $30.
$30 on a train ride up.
That's a deal.
For a 3-hour train ride. And my son drove down from Bellingham.
$10 an hour.
For, what is that? An hour and a half down there. So.
Well, you were getting bent over.
Yes.
The bat signal went up early Friday.
Mm-hmm.
That, believe it or not, Joey Harrington did invite us to the green couch.
Yep.
For the game.
And I was too busy because my son was already on his way down and I was on my way up to help him get his first car.
So he wanted to have us over to watch the Purdue game. Because
Yeah.
Oregon played Purdue. I don't know if you guys know that. But they played on Friday.
Yes.
So Sook's over getting bent over. And he was, the idea was, hey, because, that's short notice.
Yes.
So I'm like,
tickets had already been bought, and it was.
Well, you're going to do that. The question is, can you get back in time to maybe party a little bit?
And I thought, sure.
Yeah, you probably could have if everything hadn't gone so sideways.
I was told that everything was done, and all we had to do was get there, and 45 minutes later, we'd be signed and out the door. Wrong.
So I went over there before dinner, because we had a dinner at 7,
mm-hmm.
and I got to tell you.
Yeah.
That Joey Harrington household.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something.
They dialed in.
Oh my God.
Mm.
First of all, the house is like out of a magazine. There's nothing out of place.
No.
Does it feel a little bit like a J. Crew catalog kind of?
It's just not even J. Crew. Like, think, what's the highest end?
I don't know
what are all the Richie ladies like? Because it's gorgeous.
Like a Saks Fifth Avenue sort of thing.
Freaking gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I walked in there. His family could not be any more delightful.
Yes.
His old fashions are so on point. I can't even tell you. That might be the best old fashioned I've ever had.
You know, and
wow.
They're so good.
Not only did I have the worst experience known to man, they are going to rock your ass for 2 hours, but it cost me. I've been trying to get an invite to the damn green couch now for years. And the invite comes, and it's just, it couldn't be any worse.
So there were 6 people in the house, okay?
Mm-hmm.
6. Now, it wasn't a soiree of sorts.
Yeah.
Because
it's more of an intimate gathering.
Within probably the first 30 minutes of when I got there, 4 of them left.
Oh.
So
was it because they saw the likes of you? And were like, I don't like the way this is going.
I'm thinking so. 2 of them were his teenage sons.
Oh.
And they wanted another, they were doing their thing.
Yeah.
And then his brothers were there and they left. The Harrington brothers.
Yes.
There are 3 Harrington brothers.
Yes. I think I've met 2 of them.
Were they wearing any jerseys?
Was one wearing a Drunken Falcons jersey?
No, but he did remind me that was him. And then there's another one. Mike, yeah, he was there. So, and then the wife, right?
Yes.
So the old fashions he makes, and we'll talk to him about this on Friday. Oh my God, they are so good. First of all, he puts otherworldly bourbon into his old fashions, which helps.
Sure.
But he also has homemade bitters that he makes.
Oh, that's nice.
And that's his key.
That's his key.
How do you even make bitters?
Dude, I don't even know.
I got a buddy of mine that makes a homemade maple bitter, and then he makes like a smoky old-fashioned maple. Oh,
sounds nice for this time of year.
Oh,
but it was delightful.
Damn that Harrington household.
I will say there was an unsung hero. There was a showstopper at the Harrington household that I did not see coming.
Oh.
And you wouldn't have either.
No?
Boogers the cat.
What, they got a cat named Boogers?
Yeah. And he's great.
Really?
Yeah. He just laid on my lap and watched the Purdue game. And he was notably falling asleep.
Did you feel like a villain? Like you just had some cat in your lap, like Mr. Bigglesworth?
As you well know, I don't like cats all that much.
Yeah.
And I don't get along with cats all that much. And I could care less about cats. And usually cats could care less about me or any human for that matter.
They're eating the cats.
But that cat just jumped right on my lap and curled up and went to sleep.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It was the cutest little thing.
I got nothing against it. Now,
he's old.
I'm not a cat guy, but I will embrace a cat that's cool with me. I'm a dog person.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
The only thing missing at the Harrington household was a well-groomed Kirk Herbstreit golden retriever.
Yeah, and then you would have had instead of Boogers the cat.
Yeah.
Do we know why the cat's named Boogers? Is that a kid thing? It's a little,
I don't remember. You can ask him. He probably told me, but I don't remember.
Okay.
I was knee-deep in bourbon.
This only makes me more bitter.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll get your chance. Listen, the game was terrible.
Yeah, it was not interesting.
And we all bounced early.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, it's not like you missed a rager or anything, but it was nice of him to invite us over. And I couldn't pass that up. I had to stop in.
I understand.
See what was going on. And the green couch is wonderful.
Yeah.
And the pillows on the green couch are on point.
Are you just rubbing it in at this point? Are you just taunting me?
I just want you to know the pillow game from Emily. Dude. Beat it.
I just feel I can't. I can't.
And then
you think my pillow game is going to beat that? Come on.
No, none of our pillow games are going to beat that. I told my wife that.
No.
The young son, Emmett, who has once been on our show telling dad jokes. You remember him?
I remember.
Him giving crap to the oldest son is really funny too.
Oh.
He basically said he was lucky to be on the varsity soccer team. It was great.
Giving him the business.
Just Americana over there.
Yeah. No, I was busy being lied to and screwed over, so.
So happy birthday to the great Joey Harrington. Thank you for having me, not Suk, over.
Yes.
And maybe someday you'll be able to go.
Someday. I think that was my one chance. Although.
You better get over there quick.
I think because you knew I was going, I think that this was all premeditated to give me the invite that I couldn't accept. I think this is a collusion sort of thing where I was like, hey, he's gone. Like, he's not around. And Joey's like, watch this. I'm going to invite, knowing that I can't go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is all a setup.
I was wondering that. There's a very famous Office episode where Michael Scott never gets invited to do anything social with everybody, and they drop a very last minute invite to try to get it out of the way, thinking it's not going to be capitalized on, and here we are.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
However, I think we all know that Suk is a way more interesting house guest than I am. I mean, I bring nothing to the table.
Yeah.
I did bring gifts, so that's nice from Straight Away.
Oh, yeah.
But outside of that, I'm just going to drink your bourbon and look at your house.
And Boogers is going to
pet your boogers.
And let me tell you something. Boogers is wonderful. You better get over there because
it's one of those.
I mean,
I get it. We've all been there. You're like, next time you go over, be careful. Don't if you go over and you don't see Boogers, don't ask what happened to Boogers. You already know.
Well, the other one already died. So recently. So.
Hey man, that's what happens.
Can't win them all. Over there.
That's what happens to old cats and dogs.
Well, Suk was not on the Hawk Tuah Girls podcast over the weekend.
No.
He was being bent over in Bellevue, Washington, where I hear that is what they like to do up there.
Yeah, don't
wait, that's not what I meant. Can you strike that from the record, please?
What are you trying to say here?
I don't know. I had a joke and it didn't go over well. That's not what I meant.
No.
I love Bellevue.
Yeah.
It's just that the Audi of Bellevue, I now hate them.
Yes.
I know nothing about them. But I hate them.
Well, and the last time I was in Bellevue, that was when my buddy got pulled over for the fake DUI.
See what I mean?
0.0. And we got shook down by the Bellevue police for over an hour for my buddy to blow 0.0.
What are they even doing?
Let me just say for the record now, Camus, you're off the hook. I know I'm announcing right now I no longer have an issue with Camus.
I love this. A new feud.
You know who I have an issue with? Bellevue.
Just because of their Audi dealership.
And the overzealous police department pulling us over for a 0.0.
Do you think we know anyone on the board of the Bellevue, city council?
Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah. That's what I meant.
If you do, then please let me know.
Because
I would like to file some complaints.
Well, let's get on it.
Freaking cowards.
All right. If you're unclear, Suk does not like Audi of Bellevue.
No.
Just in case you guys didn't know.
No.
But we had a delightful time without you.
I was not having a delightful time.
We got a break because when we come back, did you know that we're starting Sports Show?
I did.
I'm telling you.
I don't know where you want to start. There's a lot of sports.
The notes are long.
There's a lot.
We're just gonna
systematically go through
one topic at a time.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us, guys. Happy Monday. Isaac and Suk on the Fan. Hey, never forget where you were when the Chargers signed DiCaprio Boodle.
The final piece in place.
Did you see that? Do you know who that is?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. But I love that name.
But it came across.
His name is DiCaprio Boodle.
No. I don't think anyone knows unless you're related to DiCaprio Boodle.
And he's now a Charger.
Yeah.
You got that in your sports snort, Buckley? I bet you don't.
I do not have DiCaprio Boodle, you say?
Yeah.
Hey,
in my sports snort.
The Chargers are kind of like the Steelers in that they're not very good, but they're grinding and could probably be a playoff team. They don't lose games. It's very similar. They just have a better quarterback. Or do they now that Dangerous is
locked, cocked, ready to rock?
So it's time for our poll question on 1080 The Fan X account.
Yes.
Can we call it Twitter?
I don't know. I hate Elon Musk, so you can call it whatever.
Why do you hate him?
I put him in the same category as Bellevue. I hate Elon Musk and Bellevue.
Do you think he shops at Audi Bellevue?
I just feel like he's Bellevue. I don't know. Like I said,
Is there a Tesla dealership in Bellevue?
If there is, I'm sure it's terrible.
It does seem like Elon Musk has gone insane, or perhaps he was just always insane.
Yeah.
And we're just now seeing it.
Sounds about right.
But
yeah,
it does seem that way.
Yeah. A little unhinged at this point.
I wonder what he drives.
My guess is a Tesla, but
Cybertruck, baby.
Oh God, I bet he does.
Yeah.
He's perfect for the Cybertruck.
Sounds about right.
He is the Cybertruck.
He is the Cybertruck.
He is the human embodiment of a Cybertruck.
What if he drives like a Prius?
Wouldn't it be something if you were driving, if he was driving something that he didn't make?
Does he even drive?
Probably.
Do you think
not.
Elon Musk drives?
Probably not.
Where does he live? Where's Tesla?
They moved to Texas.
Yeah, so I think he's in Texas.
He probably just has one of the self-driving, little things that drives him around. But no, I think when you're worth that much money, I'm guessing you don't drive a lot.
Yeah, probably has a little Jetsons mobile.
That would be my guess.
Toodles around.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on X, guys, at 1080 The Fan. First wrapping up Thursday's poll question, which seems like ages ago.
Mm-hmm.
Which surprise team currently unbeaten would it be most dandy to see finish that way? 41% said Army, 23% said Navy, 20% said Indiana, and only 16% chose BYU.
Let me point out they're all undefeated, by the way. Army Navy is phenomenal, but how about my Cougs? How about the BYUs doing it again?
Yep. And Indiana.
Yeah. Although they lost their quarterback for a period of time. He broke his thumb. Didn't matter because the other guy came in and continued to kick Nebraska's ass. And I said, if they handled Nebraska, that I would start taking Indiana seriously. You have my attention now, Indiana, because they boat raced. Not a great, but a solid Nebraska team, and they boat raced them.
So today's question is a very simple one. Only two options on here for you. Which team is better? Georgia or Oregon? That's it.
It's a good question. I think the Georgia stuff, how do I put it? We know Georgia's good.
How you say?
I mean, say it for the record. There is not an elite team in college football right now. Just isn't. Oregon's not elite. Ohio State's not elite. Georgia's not elite. Texas isn't elite. They're not. They're very good, but every one of them has flaws. And we're going to overreact to that Georgia game versus Texas. And I mean, dude, Georgia beat the brakes off of them, but Georgia's offense isn't very good. That was Texas being god-awful on offense for 2.5 quarters and continue to make dumb mistakes, and Georgia not really being required to do anything on offense other than score on short field. So, I mean, Georgia's really good, but that's not this idea that they're that much better than Texas. If those two teams played again, I'm not certain that I mean, obviously the score proves Georgia's better. I just don't think there's this giant gap. I don't think there's a giant gap between any of those teams. So, elite, I don't know. I guess you just have to say you trust Georgia, but I don't love Georgia's offense. I don't.
Well, elite wasn't in the question. The question was which team is better.
Is better.
You changed the question in your head.
I know. I
don't know why you did that.
I don't know. I guess you just say Georgia because, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Georgia has proved it. But obviously Oregon's undefeated. I mean, I think honestly that's a coin flip.
Well, you have to pick one. I didn't give you it's probably a coin flip. I won't answer it.
Well, I mean, proof's in the pudding, right? So Oregon at home against Ohio State. What the hell? Right. I'll take Oregon.
Ducks are the better team.
Sure. And I have no
There's
confidence.
no conviction in that.
None whatsoever.
But at least you chose one.
Well, because again, without a dumb PI call, I guess it wasn't dumb, a 50-50, but it probably was the right call.
Well, I mean,
then Ohio State beats them and we're not talking about them like that.
The thing that Oregon has over the other three big boys, which would be Georgia, Ohio State, and Texas, is they have clearly the best quarterback play.
Yes.
Of the four.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia is really good. They showed that against Texas, but Carson Beck did not play great.
No, he did not. That's what I said. I think only one of their drives, if I'm not mistaken, I'll have to go back and double check this, but I believe one of their drives started, they had to go beyond midfield. I mean, it was just
I don't really know
defense and short fields.
I don't really know who their go-to guy on offense is. Like they don't
really have one.
The Bowers of years past.
And it's one of the weaker receiving cores. And we went into this season thinking Carson Beck was the number one overall pick. And I'm not going to say that I've watched every snap of Georgia football, but I've seen a good hunk of Georgia. And I just don't love what you see flashes of it. The second half against Alabama when he's cooking. But boy, that certainly does not look like an overwhelming first-round pick to me. I mean, Dylan Gabriel and Will Howard have both had better years significantly than what Carson Beck has had. And, dude, Quinn Ewers, and I know he's been hurt, when you get sat down for Arch Manning, and I know Arch didn't do anything and then they went back to Quinn Ewers, but when that happens, do you realize that if Quinn Ewers, when he got sat, if Arch Manning had led a touchdown drive on that, that's probably the end of Quinn Ewers? Like when you make a switch to a talented freshman, I guess not a freshman, I think he's a sophomore, but when you make a switch to a 5-star kid like that, that is saying, hey, I'm giving this young kid a chance to take the job and run with it. Now he didn't grab it. So it's back to Quinn Ewers. But if you don't think that is significant, that they sat him down and gave Arch Manning a chance to run away with that job, that hasn't happened to Will Howard. It happened to Quinn Ewers. So, Oregon has better quarterback play than those other schools.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah, they do. You're 100% correct.
That's why I think Oregon has a little bit of an edge on them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they may be, if they match up, I mean, they've already beaten Ohio State, but if they match up with Texas or match up with Georgia, maybe that is not the deciding factor.
Yeah.
Which is why we'd like to see them all play. How about that?
Yes.
Which team is better? Georgia, Oregon? Vote hard on X at 1080 The Fan. When we come back, we'll get to our college football carrier pigeon. We can start with Oregon, now being number one, or we can start with the big game runaround, which includes Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Alabama. I'll let you choose that since you're the esteemed co-host of the program.
I'll noodle.
Okay, you figure that out, and we'll get to one of those two next. Here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air, serving Portland, Southwest Washington, and the Gorge. Online at aneheatingandcooling.com. It's hard to stop a train. First on the Fan. For the first time since 2012, the Oregon Ducks are the number one team in college football. Oregon jumping Texas for the top spot after the Longhorns fell to then number 5 Georgia. Now it's Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Penn State 3, Ohio State 4, and Texas 5. The Ducks' next opponent, 6-1 Illinois, is ranked 20th. That one will kick at 12:30 on Saturday. Today we also got the kickoff time for next weekend's game at the Big House in Ann Arbor. Another 12:30 kickoff for us here on the West Coast when Oregon takes on Michigan. A pair of Monday Night Football games on the gridiron this evening. The first one kicking at 5:15 between the Ravens and Bucks in Tampa. Baker Mayfield and company 4-point home dogs. You can see that one on ESPN. And at 6 o'clock, Justin Herbert and the Chargers visit the Arizona Cardinals. Los Angeles, a 1-point road favorite in that one. Injury fallout from Sunday's games include a ruptured Achilles for Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson and a torn ACL for 49ers receiver Brandon Ayuk. After the Dodgers punch their ticket to the Fall Classic on Sunday, World Series matchup is now officially set. It'll be LA versus the Yankees, with Game 1 taking place Friday at Yankee Stadium. Garrett Cole will get the ball for the Pinstripes. The Dodgers Game 1 starter still TBD. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Tired of getting dinged by subscriptions? We won't send you a bill. Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect, please? Because I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
All right, gentlemen. This is
The Fan.
All right, it's time for our college football carrier pigeon. Got a lot of college football notes. Great weekend in college football. Where would you like to start? Big game run around?
I mean, Georgia, Texas. I mean, that was the biggest game.
That was.
It just didn't live up to. What we had. Bama, Georgia was game of the year. Ohio State, Oregon, game of the year. Texas, Georgia in Texas was supposed to be that, and it really wasn't. It ended up being a somewhat competitive game, but it never felt like Texas was in that.
Can I point out one area where it was the game of the year?
Yeah, go for it.
Just one area.
Yeah.
Of many areas.
Yes.
I believe that game, Georgia-Texas, in Austin, was the single best pouty fan face crowd shot compilation.
Oh, yeah.
I've ever seen.
Dude, well, Texas really thought that they were the cock of the walk. And
their fans, there is a special kind of pouty face with them, and I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. They're all white.
Yep.
They're
They're not just white. They're white.
They're all kind of they're just kind of young and broy and cowboy hatty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're all doing they're doing bits with their cowboy gear. Like Matthew McConaughey now all of a sudden has he's like, have you seen what he wears?
I think he's always worn that.
Well, but he doesn't wear that anywhere but there.
Yeah.
Like it's like a bit.
Yeah, you spruce it up.
And by the way, he released a statement today.
What it was his statement? Really?
Yes. This is how absurd Austin, Texas fan is.
Now I got to see the statement.
And it was all on display there.
Okay.
Saturday. This is the thing about that game. That's the only cool thing about the game, other than Georgia kicked the crap out of him, which was kind of funny. But yeah, Matthew McConaughey, the minister of what do they call him there? The minister of
was it culture or whatever?
Yeah. And he wears cowboy hat and leather assless chaps. And,
well, and he's got the leather. Yeah, he certainly cowboys it up whenever
just for that.
Just for that.
I don't know where he lives. He might live there, but
you just gotta keep living, man.
Well, he
L-I-V-I-N.
I know.
Yeah.
Listen, I get it. He's a Texas guy, but there is a lot of cosplay there at Texas.
Of course.
The only guy who, like Kevin Durant, was dressed because they showed all of the celebrities.
All the celebs.
And Kevin Durant was fine. He's always there, and he's always just dressed like Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan was there. He lives in Austin.
He lives in Austin now.
And he was not dressed like anything other than Joe Rogan. Look at me, I lift weights. And then everybody else, it just seems, especially in the crowd, it just seems like they're doing bits with their cowboy boots and their buckles and their jeans and their shirts. But my God, do they have pouty fan face all over that stadium. It was so great.
Well, and the weirdest thing, and I saw a statement. It was basically about the crowd, Yeah,
he was mad about the crowd.
I have never seen in my life, ever, something that happened at the Texas-Georgia game. So if you didn't see this, I still can't believe it. So I can. So Georgia throws a ball and Texas intercepts it and runs it back to whatever it was, the 10-yard line. And so, and at this point, Texas is desperate to try to get back in the game, right? And been getting their ass kicked, and this could be a game-changing sort of moment. Texas is deep in Georgia territory. Flag comes out. PI. And by the way, it's a terrible call. It wasn't pass interference. I know some people were giving me crap because I didn't think that the Oregon Ohio State one, I don't think you should have thrown that flag. That's a judgment call, but it was probably the right call. This is just a bad call. This is one of the worst calls you've ever seen, but they happen. And so, 15 yards, interception doesn't count. 1st and 10, Georgia, 15 yards, let's go. The fans go freaking nuts. Sark's about ready to have a conniption. His leathery-ass skin, which is now the same color as Texas's burnt orange, that's the damnedest thing. Fans just start throwing water bottles on the field and throwing trash. They had to take the players from the bench and move them onto the field so they weren't getting hit by bottles. So this goes on for a series of several minutes. You can't have the game play because there's trash going on the field. So they finally get that all cleaned up, and while the officials are huddled together, for some unknown reason, the head official comes back on and says, after further review, which, by the way, there's no review of pass interference.
Well, they just talked it out.
They talked it out. By the way, you don't think they were staring up at the scoreboard and saw it on the big screen where they're like, oh, my God, that's a terrible call, and fans were throwing stuff.
They changed the call.
They just changed the call. They were after further review, there is no pass interference, 1st down, Texas. I was like, you have to be S-ing me. I've never, ever seen that where a crowd goes nuts, throws garbage on the field, and the officials randomly get together and review an unreviewable play and are like, yeah, we decided that, Just kidding, guys. Kirby, by the way, he has every right to lose his ass. Kirby's yelling, you can't do that. And he's right. You can't do it. And yet they did it. And luckily it didn't matter. I mean, Georgia won the game comfortably by 2 scores, but oh my God.
Well, they can do that. And they do it all the time in football. It's just this instance, it was a long delay because the fans were so bitchy about it.
But that's the only reason that it happened.
Yeah.
They would not have gotten together because it would have been 1st and 10 and the game wouldn't have been delayed. Because the fans threw crap on the field and it got delayed, they all had time to sit together and be like, dude, I'm sorry, dude. That was the worst call I've ever seen.
But they would, if the fans were just cool about it, which they weren't.
No.
The game probably would have just kept going.
Yeah.
They didn't have time to huddle up.
I guarantee you cannot tell me that at some point someone was like, hey, Steve, I want to look up the big board right there. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, that's that wasn't pass
Well, if
interference.
that's what happened, that's as blatant as it gets.
I've never seen anything like it, ever. And like I said, luckily, that didn't cost anyone a ball game because,
I mean, they finished him off.
They
but
finished
it was,
him off.
I mean, it was.
But the funny thing is, the right call ended up getting made, and then it was Texas's ball, but you can't do that.
Well, maybe you could make the case that you can if the right call is being made and the fans are that pissed off.
So now what we've learned is that if your team gets screwed over,
that's the hard part.
Just throw a bunch of trash on the field?
That's what Kirby was saying.
You can't do that.
You've set a precedent.
Yes.
And you know how dumb college kids are and how drunk they are? Like, imagine this at West Virginia.
Yeah.
Or LSU.
Yeah. Just throwing crap on the field. So, the Oregon-Ohio State call, so let's say that obviously goes the other way, right? And it's Oregon that gets called for the PI because they were at Autzen. So we can just throw trash on the field, and then the officials will get together and be like, yeah, you know what, that was kind of a sketchy call, and I don't want to get hit with a whiskey bottle. So first down, Ohio State. That's crazy. I've never seen anything like that.
So McConaughey said, first off, you were electric Saturday night when we hosted Georgia. Bravo. Let's continue to bring it. Even though our horns didn't get the W, you created a measurable home field advantage.
Yeah.
But let's get real about the bottle bombing, the field glitch we had. Not cool.
No.
Bogey move. Yeah, that call was BS, but we're better than that. Longhorn Nation knows how to show up, show out like no other, and still keep our class. So, going forward, let's clean that kind of BS up and leave that behind us for good. We have to shake hands on that.
Well, thanks, Matthew.
That's what.
Well, hello there.
And I love
McConaughey inserting himself into the whole ordeal.
Go away. Texas chose a poor time to play, at least for a half. When you go back and watch about 2.5 quarters of that is as bad as Texas can play on offense. I actually thought their defense played pretty good considering the predicament that they got left in all game. I just thought it was significant that Quinn Ewers came into the season as a Heisman favorite, and Steve Sarkisian, whether you agree with him or not, made an attempt to switch quarterbacks for the rest of the year. Because if Arch
talk about that next.
If Arch rolls with that,
I know.
Quinn Ewers is sat down and does not come back in. That is Arch's team going forward.
Well, they do now have a quarterback problem.
Yes, they do.
And that is all on Sark.
Yes.
So let's talk about that and get to Alabama, Tennessee as well when we get back on The Fan.
The Rifles
So Oregon is number 1. We will get to that coming up. Wrapping up Texas, Georgia. So Texas, if you didn't see it, benched Quinn Ewers for Arch Manning.
Didn't go any better, but.
And then Ewers went back in. But I thought at the time, I'm like, wow, that. I thought initially that Sark was just panicking because they were getting their ass kicked physically. And it's one of 3 things. He either panicked and he just probably regrets it. And he's like, oh, man, why did I do that? It's either that. It's he has some friction with Ewers that we don't know about. And he did allude to at the halftime interview. He said, look, I was just trying to light a fire under the kid. Maybe Quinn Ewers gets a certain way. And when Sark sees that, he's like, I know he doesn't perform well when he's this way. I need to put his ass on the bench, send him a message. Maybe there's some coaching there. Or the third way is he really was just, it's just honest. He was just trying to light a spark.
Yeah.
None of them are good.
No, I just think it's interesting that when you bench a guy, it's one thing like when you're in the NFL and like, let's say, I don't know, like Dak gets benched or a goalie gets pulled in the NHL. Like that's not, you know that's your guy. But in college, dude, when you've got a really talented freshman, remember when Spencer Rattler got sat down for Caleb Williams and everyone that's not one of those things that you just kind of look at and are like, I don't know. No, hey, this is the guy in waiting. And Arch has been waiting a couple years. And when he sat him down, I just thought to myself, oh my God. And I think we had it was like 6 plays and a punt and then the fumble. And for, Arch's 2 series, but I just thought to myself, dude, if you're Quinn Ewers, you went into the season thinking national championship and Heisman, the national title, not that it's over, but it feels like, you're getting put on blast here by getting your ass kicked against Georgia. And not only is my Heisman Trophy gone, but it's a weird feeling knowing that if he drives down, that's probably my job. Like, I'm not getting another crack at this. It's his job. And that's just a weird feeling for the number 1 team in the country that went into this game unquestioned. Like they were what 4 or 5 point favorites in this game, right?
Yeah.
Over Georgia?
Something like that.
They were favorites over Georgia, which doesn't happen. You were the consensus number 1 team. You're the king of college football right now. You made the playoff last year, and I'm not saying anything is over for Texas. And again, that game is not indicative, I think, of the gap between those 2 teams. Texas played absolutely the worst possible game on offense in the first half. Defense held up pretty well, and then in the second half, just Texas didn't have enough juice in it. But it certainly feels like that is as big a loss from where you were at to where you could end up after a loss like that I've seen in college football in a while. Like Ohio State, Oregon. Whoever lost that game, whether the field goal was going to get kicked by Ohio State or whether, Oregon finished that thing off, both those teams are fine. I'm not certain Texas is fine after this. This one may linger.
Well, it's kind of like the Georgia-Bama game. Georgia got its ass kicked in the first half, but they came back in the second half and made you think, okay, maybe it was just a bad half.
Yeah.
And you're saying, I think Texas could have had that sort of feel with this game.
Yeah.
But since they benched Ewers, it's like, wait, what's going on there?
Yep.
So I don't know what you do now. I assume you just go back to Ewers.
Yeah, and they're going to. But
was he going to be done after this year? Was he going pro?
Yeah, he was. That was the...
Because I was wondering if Arch goes in there, because somebody said on the Vancouver Ford text line, do you suppose Ewers was getting the crap beat out of him and that Manning was in there because he was more mobile? Yes, I think that was part of the decision. Kirby Smart even said that. He was like, Manning can hurt us more with his legs.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, does Ewers transfer if he's coming back next year and Arch takes that job or they keep benching him?
It might be.
He transfers and he's next year's quarterback at Oregon.
Well, we thought Quinn Ewers... What
do you think about that?
We thought Quinn Ewers was bound for the NFL. And
thank you. Wait, is Dylan Gabriel gone?
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel's gone. He has no... but Ewers can come back for another year.
Ewers coming back for a back-to-back title run with Oregon?
Well, I'm just saying, like Quinn... there was this talk of, where does Quinn fit in the NFL? I'm not certain that Quinn has done a lot this year to ingratiate himself to the NFL. So he may make more money by sticking around someplace. I'm just not certain after that you believe that your job is completely safe at Texas. And if he does come back, one of them is gone. There's no way Arch Manning sits again. So if he does decide to come back and play, it's either Arch is gone or my guess is they push Ewers out the door.
Look, based on age, they're pushing Ewers out the door.
Yes. And that's what Oklahoma did.
If they had to pick.
It sounds like Oklahoma was like, hey, man, we're going to go with the young guy who turns out, isn't doing squat, but they kind of shoved Dylan Gabriel out the door and Oregon was like, thanks, great, appreciate it.
Well, maybe they'll do that again and Oregon will be like, thanks, great,
Boy, wouldn't that
appreciate
be
it.
something?
Another text says, wouldn't sending something like that be a part of McConaughey's job as Minister of Culture? Yes, it would. Good point. It's just, I think what we're saying is, while the greatness of Matthew McConaughey cannot be argued, I do believe that Texas has leaned into him a bit too much. They've given him a bit too much slack on that rope, okay? That's just how I feel about Texas.
And I love, you know me, I love
He's great.
Matthew McConaughey,
He's
but
great,
I'm with you.
But it's a little bit of an eye roll at this point.
He's becoming too much Fireman Ed for me and less McConaughey.
Exactly.
By the way, did you see Fireman Ed last week?
Yes.
This douche canoe.
What did he do?
So
Wait, maybe I didn't.
Ed released a statement on social media saying, Buck, will you go see if you can find this? Basically, Fireman Ed is up in a roar because home field advantage is being taken away because Ed and the other Jets 2 superfans are being phased out.
Oh, no.
And they're not being shown enough on the video board. And without Fireman Ed and his JTS Jets chant, they're losing their home field advantage, and this has to stop. Let me state for the record, Fireman Ed is the biggest douche in the NFL.
Well, aren't all super fans like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
but imagine thinking that much of yourself that you not being shown enough on the video board is the reason why the Jets suck. Which, by the way, Fireman Ed, you abandoned the Jets a couple years ago, and now you're trying to come back because you thought they were going to be good? Dude, get
Who
bent.
even is Fireman Ed?
He's just some fireman named Ed something.
Is he a real fireman?
Anzalone or Anzalone?
Yes, he is a fireman.
The quote here says, I don't know exactly what's going on, but they're phasing us out. I'd like to know if somebody knows anything. Please let me know because it's evident what is happening. And it needs to stop because we need a home field advantage. That's what we have when and we need to keep it going. Something is going on, so please let me know if you know something.
Yeah.
Oh, dear, that's so sad.
How deep?
You're a pathetic loser. So.
Who do you think you are?
Yeah, super fan out there, I hate to tell you this, man, but dude, he's such an effing loser. You kind of are all in that boat. You just are.
Yeah, you are.
Some are better than others, but you need to take a long, hard look at yourself in the mirror and realize, just stop.
We got to wrap up Alabama, Tennessee, and then Oregon sitting pretty at number 1 coming up on The Fan.
It's time for Who Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on the Fan. For the first time since 2012, the Oregon Ducks are the #1 college football team in the nation. Oregon jumping Texas for the top spot after the Longhorns fell to Georgia. Now it's Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Penn State 3, Ohio State 4, and Texas at number 5. The Ducks' next opponent, 6-1 Illinois, ranked 20th. Kickoff time this week at 12:30 at Autzen Stadium. We also have the kickoff time for next weekend's game out at the Big House in Ann Arbor. Another 12:30 kick for us here on the West Coast when Oregon visits Michigan. A pair of Monday Night Football games this evening on the gridiron. The first one kicks at 5:15 between the Ravens and Bucks. Baker Mayfield and company are 4-point home dogs. And then at 6 o'clock, Justin Herbert and the Chargers visiting the Arizona Cardinals. Los Angeles, a 1-point road favorite in that one. Some injury fallout from Sunday's games include a ruptured Achilles for Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson and a torn ACL for 49ers receiver Brandon Ayuk. Meanwhile, the other 49ers receiver, Deebo Samuel Sr., has been hospitalized with fluid in his lungs from pneumonia. There's no timetable for his return. After the Dodgers punched their ticket to the Fall Classic on Sunday, the World Series matchup now officially set. It'll be Dodgers-Yankees with Game 1 taking place Friday night at Dodger Stadium. Garrett Cole will get the ball for the Pinstripes. The Dodgers Game 1 starter still TBD. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan Merch Locker has new shirts from the fan shows and hosts you love. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com.
Hear this, right now.
Welcome.
Primetime with Isaac and Suk.
What is going on up here?
I never know, man.
Unbiased.
Shut your mouth.
Uncompromised sports talk without the sugarcoating.
I hope you're happy. You wasted everyone's life for 30 seconds.
Isaac Rupp and Jason Sukanik.
Now shut up and let me do my job.
The best in sports coverage.
This is gonna be great.
This is Primetime with Isaac and Suk on 1080 The Fan.
All right. Welcome back. Hope you're having a nice, juicy little Monday. It's Rop and Suk here. We're talking some college football because that's what we do here.
Yeah.
Very sportsy, not 50-50.
No.
We're all sports.
That's all sports all the time.
So, wrapping up the big game runaround before we get to a little hot Oregon talk. And then we've got, Buckley standing by with his stock watch.
Yeah.
Very popular.
It was a great weekend in the NFL. And we got a good Monday night one tonight, too.
Well, we got a World Series.
2 Monday Nighters tonight.
We got 2 Monday night
only
games.
Only one that I care about.
We've got the WNBA to talk about for 2 hours. We've got it. We've got a lot.
Is anyone watching the Chargers and Cardinals? And I mean that. Anybody?
If Ravens Bucks isn't any good, I will.
That should be a really good game. And even if that game sucks and it's a blowout, I think I may just pass on the Ravens and Chargers. Or, excuse me, Cardinals and Chargers. Okay.
So Alabama played Tennessee. That was the other big game of the weekend. And Kalen DeBoer lost again.
Yeah, and Alabama's ready to run him out on a rail. Yeah. So,
well, did you see his players doing jump shots on 4th and 1?
Yeah.
That was a little weird.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
Well, a stark reminder that Kalen DeBoer is no Nick Saban.
Well, now they got Missouri, so wait until they lose 3 games in a row. And,
where's that game?
It's in Alabama, but and Missouri's not that good, but still.
Bama's favored by 2 touchdowns in that one.
It's 13.5, but yeah.
They don't look very good. Milroe's last interception was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
They don't.
No. And Tennessee's not that good either.
No, dude, Alabama should have been up 30 at half.
Yeah. And that's why I said I don't think there's an elite team in college football. Like, in years past, there's usually 1 or 2 teams that you look at and you're just like, whoa. And I think there's good teams. I think Georgia's good. I think Ohio State's good. Obviously, Oregon's really good. But, again, I just don't – I don't see a team that I look at and say that's clearly the best team in the country. And so maybe now with the 12-team playoff and this, maybe we get – wouldn't that be something if we got a true underdog national champion that was able to come out of this? Because I don't think there is the top heavy 1 or 2 teams that we see most years.
Well, but they're still the most talented teams.
Yes.
And they're still the teams, those 3 or 4 at the top that are built to go a long ways in the tournament.
Yes, and they have the depth and they have the size up front.
So that's
Absolutely.
a whole different,
Yeah.
It's like the NBA play. It's just kind of a whole different game once you get to the tournament. But, we'll see. Maybe we'll get an upset champion. Alabama hasn't lost 2 games before November since 2007.
And that kind of eliminates them from the SEC title conversation. It doesn't necessarily eliminate you from the college football playoff, but you are not going to play in the SEC title game, which means you are going to need a bunch of help from other teams. We said three losses eliminates you. 2, it takes it out of your own hands, and you're basically going to need a bunch of help and some upsets to happen. But and by the way, and that's assuming that Alabama goes perfect the rest of the way. And the way Alabama's playing on offense and defense, there ain't a guarantee that they go undefeated the rest of the way.
They don't look. They this is why they play all 12, Jace.
Yes.
They just don't have that look.
Nope. We
and
thought
DeBoer, we know he's a good coach.
Yeah, but I was surprised. Like, they thumped Wisconsin, which whatever, and then the way they looked in the first half against Georgia, it was like, okay, they figured it out. And then in the second half, they damn near gacked that thing away. I mean, they gave up the lead.
They gave up the lead.
They gave up the lead, and since then, it's like you haven't played any defense against Vanderbilt. You had to squeak one out against South Carolina, and then if you would have told me that Tennessee only scores 24 points, I'm like, Alabama wins that. No, they don't.
Yeah. These conference races they're already so fun.
Yeah.
And it's going to be wild because, like you said, I mean, teams already with 1 loss, much less 2, are freaking out.
Yeah.
Because what is their margin for error? We don't really know.
Nope.
So it's dicey.
Yeah.
So this SEC, in the SEC, the title game, if it were today, do you know who would be playing in it?
Well, Texas would still be in, right? With 1 loss? Texas wouldn't be in?
Nope.
Oh. Well, then, I mean, I'm trying to think of the 1-loss teams. Missouri's a 1-loss team. Georgia's a 1-loss team. Texas is a 1-loss team.
You haven't named them yet.
LSU's still a 1-loss team,
It would
right?
be LSU against Texas A&M.
Oh.
And they play this week, which is great.
With that. And by the way, those are 2 teams that we both, a lot of people wrote off at the start of the season.
Oh, yeah.
And yet,
again, this is why they play all 12. And by the way, it's going to change dramatically from here until the end of November. I can't wait for the SEC to start bitching about not getting 7 teams in the playoff. They're eating their own. It's happening already, and it's great.
They're eating the pets.
They're eating the dogs.
And quite frankly, these teams are not dominant. It just doesn't appear that there are dominant teams right now.
Well, if you go Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, Alabama, A&M, LSU, Ole Miss, Missouri, that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 8 teams.
Yeah.
How many of those teams go?
Again,
3, 4?
Yeah. You figure the SEC gets 3 in for sure. And then after that, when you talk about that 4th or 5th team, then it just comes down to what happens in the rest of the league. Because, well, let's take, for instance, the Big 12, which is really fun. And Iowa State and BYU both got by the skin of their teeth, right? And I would assume that both of those teams end up losing a game along the way. Neither one of those teams is dominant, but right now they're both undefeated, 7-0. But and by the way, they don't play each other, right? So they wouldn't meet if somehow, God and Jewish God and Mormon God, all that together, BYU goes undefeated, Iowa State goes undefeated, they play in the Big 12 title game, you can almost guarantee that both of those teams get in regardless of the outcome of that game. And so, based on that, then that probably takes the 5th team in the SEC or the 4th team maybe, and it boots them. Indiana, by the way, has a real path to the college football playoff when you look at their schedule. And if Indiana puts together a special season and you end up getting 4 teams in the bid, let's say you get Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and then Indiana is a 1-loss team that somehow doesn't get to play for the Big 12 title, it's going to be hard to kick Indiana out for a 3-loss 4th seed or 5th seed SEC team. So much of the SEC, if you have 2 or 3 losses, is going to be predicated on, do you have a bunch of other 1 or 2 loss teams that have looked really good in the other conferences?
Yeah, you sort of have a new betting angle.
Yeah,
that is emerging in college football this year now that they've expanded to 12. And you're going to have teams that need games more than others.
Yes.
And you haven't had that in the past.
No. Well, and there's another one, the ACC, which we all laughed at, right? And kind of rightfully so. I think the ACC kind of sucks. But Miami still undefeated. It doesn't look pretty, but they're 7-0. And you know who quietly is just kicking the living crap out of people right now?
Cal.
It's freaking Clemson. Damn it. Dude, Clemson's clubbing people. It's not Cal.
They blew another lead.
I thought you were going to say your boy Signetti.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, I just got done talking about Indiana, but thanks, Buck. Do you know, much like I said with BYU and Iowa State, you know who doesn't play in the regular season?
BYU and Iowa State.
Clemson in Miami.
Yeah, so this is and we're going to have to remind you of this weekly, but this is your weekly reminder that in the 12-team playoff, the winner of the Big 12 will be a top 4 seed
and get a bye.
So I want you guys to remember that. And I'm gonna make a point to say that every week.
Iowa State or BYU.
Yeah.
In theory, not in theory.
Not in theory.
One of them.
That will happen.
That will
if they win
the league. Yes,
they are. Whoever wins the Big 12 championship game is a top 4 seed and gets a bye
and gets to host a home playoff game.
Yes,
Iowa State or BYU would more than likely end up hosting Ohio State or Oregon.
Unbelievable.
That'd be a hell of a thing.
It would be a hell of a thing. And right now, if you haven't looked, and we'll get into this later because now we got a skiddly doot. But Oregon's number 1. 3 of the top 4 teams in the country are from the Big 10.
Yes.
Not the SEC.
No. And by the way.
And they should be flexing that to high heaven.
Absolutely.
Over the SEC until it ends. But.
Until it comes crashing down. And we've seen that. And by the way, some people asking what Army and Boise State, UNLV, they will get 1 team in, but you're not getting 2. I don't care if Army goes undefeated. The group of 5 will get 1 team and 1 team only.
Yeah, so the Armies and Navies of the world, they just basically have to go undefeated.
Yes.
That would be the only way they would get in over, say a Boise or...
Yes. So they take the best group of 5 team, the highest ranked team that wins one of those. And the committee will not consider an undefeated Navy or whatever as a second group of 5 team. It's not happening.
You know who Navy gets this week?
Who do my midshipmen got?
Notre Dame.
Oh, well, wouldn't that be something? It's not going to happen, but it's fun. It's a great story.
No, they're going to play the game. I saw it. It's on the schedule.
No, Notre Dame just said, hey, Jesus.
We're not showing up.
No, they got Jesus, and so.
True story.
They got Catholic Jesus.
All right, Oregon's sitting pretty at number 1. We'll get to that coming up, but up next it is our Primetime Stock Watch, what we're buying and selling from the weekend in sports on The Fan.
The home of dirt and Riverside. Call 1-800-DIVORCE today.
One quick correction. We were mentioning the Big 12 champion gets a bye. They do.
Yeah, but
that won't be a home game when they play. The quarterfinals end up going to a neutral site.
Yeah, we forgot. The only home game is for the higher seed in that first round, which obviously wouldn't work because you get a bye. So.
But be prepared for the awesome instance where the 4 teams with a bye in the first ever college football 12-team playoff are Indiana, Iowa State, Miami, and let's throw in Tennessee.
Why can't it be BYU?
Just as I
predicted.
Why
can't you
or
have
BYU.
Or
Or
just
BYU.
how the powers that be in college football imagined it, dreamed of it.
Yep. Indiana, BYU, Miami,
I just think
and Missouri.
I just think it'd be amazing in the first year of a true playoff if we got a weird, Iowa State type.
Well, you're going to get that.
No, champion.
Champion. I don't think you're
Look,
going to get
I
that.
still think it's. If you ask me right now, you give me Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, I'll take that versus the entire field. But I just think it'd be fun if we got a weird, kind of. Indiana, Iowa State.
We're going to get some weird results. We're going to get some wonky games in there, I think.
I would hope so.
But I don't know about going all the way.
I don't think so. Because we've seen like TCU get there and teams like that, and then when they do get there, even Washington to an extent, who had 12 NFL players when they got to the big game and they played Michigan, the cream tends to rise.
Should we start the stock watch?
Yeah.
Hi. Hello.
That's why I paused. I thought you'd
pick up on that cue.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Here I am.
Radio guy.
Let's start with Oregon-Purdue, the Friday night ho-hum affair.
What an affair it was.
But Oregon now ranked number 1 for the first time since 2012. Here's Josh Pate of CBS on that Oregon-Purdue victory.
It's a tough spot. I don't care who the opponent is. It's a tough spot, and they win 35-0. I think that game won't be remembered by anyone. That is as good an indicator that you've got a program with its act together and a coaching staff with its act together as anything. Bama beat Georgia a couple of weeks ago, and then they pissed it away the next week because they came up to Vanderbilt and lost. Oregon did what elite teams do. They beat Ohio State, and then they went and just drug a team in their own backyard and gave them no reason to even have hope. They never allowed them to have a breath of oxygen. Done. Over. That's how you do it. If you want to win a title, that's how you do it.
Buy or sell that Oregon will still be ranked number 1 come Big Ten championship game week.
Whoa!
Yeah. By the way,
fella,
I like Josh Pate. He does like Oregon. Really, we're talking about the Purdue game like as some sort of barometer. Okay.
Well, can I say something about what he just said there?
Yeah.
He's right about that, but who didn't think Oregon didn't have a program that had its act together?
It's Purdue.
Like, I don't know. That was.
I mean, if you would have told me that like this week, like Illinois was the one after Ohio State, maybe. Dude, Purdue's one of the worst teams in the country.
Are they? So is he? He's a national guy.
He's a national guy.
Yeah.
But he's got kind of a.
He was on Oregon before the season.
He's got a sports
kinda...
wood for.
So is that
Oregon.
Is that a thing out there? I mean, I know Harrington told us that last week or 2 weeks ago. He said he's talking to his guys in the NFL, his friends who all say he asked them what is Oregon's reputation, and they all said the team that's really good but can't win the big one.
Yeah.
Is that still a thing out there for those that haven't really watched Oregon? Is that Oregon is still kind of a paper tiger?
Boy, I hope
because
not. It's certainly not for Pate.
They need to watch.
I said, I know he goes on with Dirt and Sprague and he loves Oregon, but to say that a team that got drug up and down the field by Oregon State is somehow the barometer for Oregon, whatever.
I think he was just saying that it was a potential letdown spot because of the fact you're on 6 days rest. It's a night game. You're going across. And like, I don't think you're expecting them to not win that game, but they just went in and took care of business.
Yes, to answer your question, do I expect them to be undefeated? Yes, I do. Because Illinois, that's a bit of a test, but it's at home. Michigan is awful. Maryland isn't good. They just beat USC, but Maryland's not good. And Wisconsin and Washington are both ho-hum. I mean, on the road at Wisconsin might have something for you, but I expect Oregon to be undefeated going into the Big Ten title game, where more than likely they will play Ohio State, and I think there will be an instant classic. The only one that would scare me a bit is on the road at Wisconsin. But again, I trust Oregon. So yes, I expect them to be the number 1 team in the country going into championship week.
Oh, you said undefeated or number 1?
Number 1.
Well, but they would.
But I mean, if
I think
you think someone could jump them even if they don't lose.
Oh, no. I'm saying if they lose one, they could still be number 1.
Oh, okay.
In which case, I think I would bet that they are still number one because there's a lot of topsy-turvy-esque going on out there. Yeah. But I think they're going to drop one. I mean, this Illinois game is like,
maybe that one.
And then at Michigan, at Wisconsin, and then your rival. I think one of those four, somewhere in there, something bad happened. I don't know. Listen, I trust Lanning, his staff. I think the Ducks are sitting pretty. Whoa, sorry. Misfire. I think they're sitting pretty for the playoff. But it's really hard to go undefeated. Now, they are certainly, I think, talent-wise and coaching staff-wise, they have what it takes to go undefeated. The schedule is there, but, funky things happen. Yeah. Especially in November. So I bet they drop one, but I'm still going to buy that they're number one. How about that?
Well, let's move over to the Big 12 and Sook's BYU Cougars, right as we were wrapping up here with the Ducks postgame show. The Cougars pulling victory out of the jaws of defeat. They did it with BYU. Here's how it sounded.
Happy feet, downfield, caught, broken tackle, Lassiter, touchdown! Are you kidding me?
Buy or sell that Sook should bank on a BYU playoff berth this season?
Dude, I'm banking. No, I'll sell it. I'll bank on nothing. It's a fun ride, though. BYU is a really good team. They're a resilient team. They're not elite. If they played, I think they're 11th in the country. I don't think they're the 11th best team in the country. They're finding ways to win, right? And we give credit to other teams that find ways to win. So why not these guys? It's an awesome story. And in the Big 12, they absolutely have an opportunity to do this. But banking on it means that I think they're going to be there. And when I'm banking on it, I'm banking on Ohio State, I'm banking on Oregon, I'm banking on Georgia, I'm banking on Texas. I'm not banking on BYU. My fingers are crossed because, again, it's a kick-ass story. It'd be awesome to see Iowa State and BYU both go undefeated, play each other, and both get in. It'd be incredible to see some new blood and maybe get a rocky, upset sort of situation in the playoff. But I can't bank on it.
Bank on them being in the playoff?
Yeah.
Playoff? Is that what you asked?
Yeah. Buy or sell that Sook should bank on.
We got too many
basically believe that
we got too many white guys on defense. I'm sorry.
Why would he bank on them being in the playoff?
Because they're 6-0 and they look like a team of destiny. That's why.
Actually, they're 7.
7-0. That's why.
But 3 of their last 5 are on the road.
Yeah.
And they play the Juggernaut Jayhawks.
Rock Jock.
So
the Primetime Bowl. Get excited.
But that doesn't mean, they can't win the Big. I mean, they win the Big 12. They're in the tournament.
Exactly.
So in the Big 12 title game, they can drop 1 or 2 and still make the Big 12 title game.
That's true.
And then they would play an Iowa State so it is definitely doable. More doable than you probably are giving them credit for, just because I know you and you're probably pessimistic about it. You've been trained to be. But this is, dude,
they got a chance.
Zip, boop.
Yeah. Again, have we?
But no, he shouldn't bank on it.
Have we ever had Have we ever had Mormon Jesus and Jewish Jesus come together? We've never seen this. Every team tries to have one singular Jesus. We've gone twofold now. So, we got some spiritual power behind us at this point. The Huck in Hebrew, man. It's freaking great.
Well, let's move over to Sunday Night Football, where we saw Russell Wilson get the start for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He got into the end zone. Mike Tomlin was asked after the game if it signified anything. Here's how that sounded.
What does it say that Russ kept the ball and pushed his way in for that 1-yard rushing touchdown? And what did you learn about maybe his resilience and his strength in that moment?
It was just a sneak.
Refusing to play any ball with the narrative.
Dumb question. Like,
really
of all the things you're going to ask him about, it's hey, what did you think of him getting the 1 yard on a sneak?
What?
That was just an excuse for me to sneak the audio in there. But buy or sell, Russell Wilson will lead the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs.
Yeah, they're 5-2.
They're 5-2.
They're going.
Yeah.
They're going places. Super Bowl champs.
I mean, we've only seen one start from him, but
look, and
he wasn't very good last year.
Yeah, and look, Russ wasn't. That performance is being a little bit overblown, but he gives him for all the crap that Mike Tomlin got for replacing Justin Fields. You saw why he replaced Justin Fields. There is a real ceiling on what Justin Fields is doing, and I think Russell Wilson, there's still a ceiling. It's just a little higher ceiling, and there's more maturity there. And if Russ can play that style of ball, they're going to be in a lot of games. But the problem that Pittsburgh is going to have is the same problem they have every year. When you play an offense like this, you're going to win 10, 11 games. You're going to get into the postseason, and then you're going to play an elite defense. and your offense is going to be very problematic, and you're going to play a real offense. And we've seen this. Teams like this don't go very far, but this is Pittsburgh's MO every year since Roethlisberger retired. And at 5-2, this is a playoff team.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't matter how far they go. That's a great franchise. That's a winning franchise. They're doing a great job again. They're about to be 6-2 because they're getting ready to play the Giants.
Yeah.
And they need that because then they're going into a bye, and the rest of their schedule
gets kind of heavy.
Pretty dicey.
Yeah.
So they're at Washington. They also play Baltimore, Cincinnati twice, Philadelphia, Baltimore again, and Kansas City.
Yeah, and so those are
the only two other easier games besides the Giants. They play Cleveland twice, of course. But outside of that, and those are tough divisional games. It's not going to be easy down the stretch for Pittsburgh.
No. And this offense, unless Russ takes some potion and goes back 6 years, there's just a limit to where this offense is going to take you.
Potion?
I don't know. Maybe he's got, maybe some sort of weird deal with the devil unlimited thing that he can take. Did you see he refused to unveil his stupid new catchphrase, though?
Mr. Unlimited.
He's so...
Did you see his pregame interview? It was like AI-generated rah-rah speak. It was really something.
Someone got to Russ and told him, dude, and it was probably Mike Tomlin, you cut that rah-rah S right out.
Broncos orange, let's ride.
Yeah, they asked him about it because I guess his new one is Let's Win 7 or whatever, the 7th title for Pittsburgh. And they asked him, they're like, hey, you want to unveil the new catchphrase? And Russ was like, no, I'm not going to. It's for later. Like,
no more catchphrases for a while, buddy.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin said, dude, I will bench you shut up and play football.
And then finally, on the other side of the Sunday Night Football coin, Aaron Rodgers was asked about the team having the same issues. He was a bitch like he usually is.
How do you get everybody to keep the belief in? It seems like a lot of the same mistakes.
Stop listening to you guys.
Oh, yes. Media's
Number one. Number two, got to be accountable, I got to play better. That's the key. I got to play better. We got to find a way to run the ball better so we can action pass. I thought did some nice things in the passing game. Brees obviously had a couple of really nice ones. Spread the ball around to Tay, G, and Allen. Mike had a nice conversion. But we got to run the ball better, and I got to play better.
Always angry, always losing. Buy or sell that this will be Aaron Rodgers' last starting job.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, he may come back for another year with the Jets, but no one else is they're putting on him. When he's done with the Jets, he's done. So whether it's this year or next year, but if you're Rodgers, why come back? Because the problems and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, the problems that are with the Jets, it's not solved by Devontae Adams. It's just there is systemic problems here. You fired your coach midseason, you have bad ownership. This is going nowhere fast. And you went all in. You probably fire your GM. So is there a reason for Rodgers to come back? Probably not. And what team is desperate enough to then roll the dice on Aaron Rodgers again? I think this is probably it. This year or next year, and it's not going anywhere fast. So you're a Hall of Fame quarterback, multiple MVPs, one of the best to do it. But I do not know if he will be remembered fondly. And maybe that's unfair. I think we're discrediting how good he was because of the problems at the end and how he's remembered. But he did most of that to himself. And it's hard for me to believe that someone would win in a douche-off with Russell Wilson. But I think Aaron Rodgers is douchier than Russell Wilson.
I hate to say this. I don't think he is.
Yeah,
that's a great poll question, though.
It is. Bigger douche.
Douchiest QB in the league.
I think it's Wilson. Because I feel like Rodgers has at least a side of him, maybe 10% of him, that could be fun or engaging.
It's kind of douchey.
I don't think Russell Wilson has that.
Oh, it's tough.
I mean, if you sat down to have a beer with Russell Wilson, are you stabbing a fork into your eye within the first, I don't know.
I'm not convinced Russ is a real person. He's just like a shell of a human being. He's a robot.
At least Rodgers may tell some dumb story of some UFO or something. I don't know. It's
yeah.
I'll take that over.
He may also tell you that the Sandy Hook shootings are false and 9/11 was an inside job.
But that's better than
Is it?
No, it isn't. But I still think Rodgers slightly less douchey than Russell Wilson. By the way, can I go back to, first of all, I would like to answer that and state that I buy the stock. This is his last starting job. Okay. But isn't part of accountability hearing and professionally answering media criticism where it's warranted?
Part of the gig.
Right? And he kind of then did that. He just had to take jab right at...
Complain about it first.
Yeah, it's just these guys.
Give it up, man.
Yeah, and they suck. I mean, come on. Yeah, and he sucks. He's not. Yeah. Well, he's still Aaron Rodgers, but he's not playing great. He's not.
Nobody there's playing great.
He's throwing picks right and left. Now, some of the, I was watching a little bit of that game. A couple of one of them for sure wasn't his fault. Another one was just a really good play by the Steelers DB.
Yeah, the one just bounced off Wilson's chest. I mean, that's.
But still, 7 picks, 10 touchdowns. I mean, he's not, and he said it, but you don't need to stop listening to your bullshit. Maybe it's actually warranted. Because we actually watch you, and we're.
And did you hear the question? He just said, like, how do you keep the same things from happening? He's like, by not listening to you guys. Like, what?
That's why you've lost.
It's a reasonable question to ask.
I don't know anyone.
Russ wouldn't say that.
I'm trying to think if I know anyone that played with Rodgers. I'm scanning. I know two people that played with Russ, and I'm not calling anyone out.
Let's be great.
They don't have anything good.
To say about it. See, I think some people might have something good to say about Rodgers.
I'm trying to think if
some people.
Yeah.
Well, Devontae Adams likes him.
Yeah, Adams likes him. And I'm sure there's people like Russ. I'm just saying, the two guys that I know that played a significant amount of time with Russell Wilson,
Randall Cobb really likes Aaron Rodgers.
Not huge fans.
Stockwatch is brought to you by Goldberg Jones. When it comes to divorce, custody, or child support issues, trust Goldberg Jones to help. Call 1-800-DIVORCE. Phone questions answered at no charge. Coming up next, it is in the news. Have you read about the IV shortage we have going on?
Oh, no.
Have you read about that?
I have not.
Well, your noted newsman's going to tell you about it.
Thank you.
But first, Buck with SportsCenter. right, cruising right along here on today's broadcast of the program.
Muppet song, cruising right along.
Moving right along.
Is it moving? Yeah.
Yeah. Great song. It is October 21, 2024. It's time now for In the News. I'm your noted newsman. Hello. Thank you. Today is International Day of the Nacho.
Well, who doesn't love nachos?
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't like nachos, I mean, I just don't know if we could hang out.
Why wouldn't you? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I get that you may not like
certain
one or
things.
two ingredients of a nacho.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like olives on my nachos.
Sure. But you can pick around. You know.
But everybody has a perfect nacho plate, right?
Yeah. And if you didn't, like, I don't know, maybe you're one of those health weirdos and you're like, you refuse to eat nachos.
I get that.
But that I don't think that means you hate nachos. You're just choosing not to eat them because of the health concerns. But
right.
If you took a bite of nacho and then were like, this is disgusting, I just don't think we could be friends.
It is also a celebration of the Mind Day. The mind is a curious thing, isn't it, Jace?
And then tomorrow will be the celebration of the Up Top Day, right?
Whoa. Why did you... What? Why did you go there?
Because that's always I want someone to celebrate my mind, when in reality, most of us, male and female,
we just like your up tops.
Yeah, and for a female, it's like you like some dude's abs or his ass. You know, but then we have to predict, oh, yeah, she's got a great mind. Like everybody that you've ever had that's dating like the stripper, oh, you should actually talk to her. She's an incredibly intelligent woman. I'm sure she is.
Well, this is brought to you by the Advocates, injury attorneys at advocateslaw.com. I heard about this because I have my my ear to the ground.
Your nose is down there? You brown nosing, are you?
My ear is to the ground in the community. Yeah. And my kid told me about this. Him and his friend are nurses, so I was drinking with them the other night, and they were telling me about this. I had no idea, but there's a nationwide IV fluid shortage.
Yeah, and by the way, we had an anesthesiologist that texted in and said that this is
it's a very real thing.
Yeah, he said we have daily meetings for proper allocation.
Yep.
Elective surgeries in many places are being put off until January. So Buck's penile enlargement surgery.
Yeah, that has to wait.
That's not going to happen anytime soon.
No.
Yeah, so OHSU has postponed 108 surgeries scheduled for this week. This is all because Hurricane, not Milton, the first one.
The first one.
Helene,
something like that.
She,
you're welcome, bitch.
She knocked a North Carolina factory offline, and it produced about half the IV fluids used by hospitals around the country. And so, yeah, it's all in short supply. Electrolytes, saline, the whole thing. They are among the most common treatments hospitals give patients during surgeries in ICU and in the emergency department. So 25% of surgical procedures, roughly, will be canceled because
right out.
They don't have the IV fluids. And I tell you, it's a little more dicey than that. Again, my ear is to the ground. I know things that go on in hospitals. And I'm telling you, it's like, dude, they're...
Scary?
Well, yeah, it's scary because they have to make...
Yeah, make decisions.
Very quick decisions about, can I use this on this person?
That was like COVID, right? Triage. Like, you had to determine who needed, like, there's only so much equipment to go around, and you got to make decisions based on, who's in immediate need.
Yeah, it feels very third worldy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I really need this, but sorry, I don't have this. I don't have the medicine to give you, so
and
nuts to you.
Is this the time for us to form an IV fluid company?
My friend has an IV fluid company.
Oh.
But I didn't ask it. Like, does he have a stockpile of IVs, or is his company?
Pounce. Let's go.
Yeah, but they do theirs for like people at golf tournaments that have hangovers and whatnot. So
well, maybe they could be used.
Yeah, maybe.
Have you ever done that? The hangover drip or whatever. What do they call it?
Yeah, like a hangover IV.
It's a hangover IV.
You guys ever done?
I never have. I've been interested.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a buddy of mine that it's a mobile IV company, and they either come to your house or they go to big tournaments or parties and stuff, and they give people IV drips.
How is it?
Yeah, it's you sit there and
a bunch of fluids, eh?
Yeah, it's a bunch of fluids, and I've gotten them after like football games.
You feel better?
Yes, absolutely. Like when you're cramping in a game, really the only thing that can alleviate that is an IV drip. So sometimes at halftime they'll try to get you in there and get one in, or after the game you can get one in order to prevent the plane ride home.
It's my mom's professional specialty, intravenous access.
What? Intravenous
IVs
is what?
My mom's professional specialty. She spent 20 years in IVs.
Oh.
Well, I tell you, if you've ever had anybody pop a vein, or what do they call it?
Yeah, I mean, you just rupture.
Is that what it's called? Ruptured vein.
Yeah, you rupture. You go all the way through.
That crap hurts.
Oh yeah, dude. We got into a whole. This was we were hanging out at my buddy's country club, and if you want to know how dumb and ignorant wealthy men are, I give you this. Well, because we were talking about my buddy who has his mobile IV company, and they were going to a golf tournament that a bunch of these bros were at. And someone brought up the fact that they're like, dude, you can just go buy your own IV supplies and just do it yourself. And and for like, he's like, it would cost you nothing. I started laughing. And I was like, okay, first off, yeah, I'm sure you can just go and buy your own IV supplies. I'm like, who's administering that? You're going to do it yourself? And there were like these two dumbasses that had never given an IV before in their life.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, no problem.
Yeah.
I'm like,
What?
dude, I would pay. I will let you sit there as long as you want and watch you butcher your arm until you quit. Whatever you want to bet.
Don't you think a lot of people think that, though?
Oh, my God.
Because it doesn't look that hard.
It is.
But it is not easy.
No.
And everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
And, boy, dude, the last time I had a blood draw, this dude, look, he was really nice.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a mask on, and he was breathing heavily all over me, and he was kind of gross.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. And then he couldn't find my vein.
It's a lot harder.
It's just, and I'm just like, are you cut out for this?
Yeah.
Do you want to host a sports show?
And a lot of doctors and nurses aren't great at that. And so they have specialists who like float all around the hospital.
Well, he said, so he tapped one vein and busted it.
Yep.
And then he went over to the other arm. He's like, well, I'm not really getting one over here either. And he goes, well, after 2, we have to pass it off to somebody else.
Yeah, they call the lines.
And
team.
believe me, when they blow one out,
Yeah.
it bleeds like you wouldn't.
It hurts.
It just goes everywhere.
It's like a big bruise.
Yes. But these two Dunkoffs, they're like, oh, yeah, I got this. Maybe once or twice, but I'd be able to do it. Started laughing because I had to do that when I did my EMT training however many years ago. Gosh, that's going on 30 years. I'm old. I haven't done one in that long, and I was like, dude, there's no way. Someone would quit. No one would allow me to do it, and I've done it before. And they're never having done it, they were just confident. It's just the amount of bravado when it comes to that sort of stuff. That really is a technical skill.
Coming up, well, yeah. That's why it's a whole.
Yes.
I mean, what do they call them?
Yeah, nurses, doctors. Yeah.
Well, I know, but aren't there people that are just that? Like, you go to those lab draw places.
Yeah.
Those people aren't. I mean,
they're not the normal.
offense,
Yes.
but they're kind of working their way up, right?
Yes.
Like they're just it's more entry level type,
Yes.
which is I think another reason why it has a stigma.
Yes.
But it's not easy what they do.
No, even medical professionals like nurses that don't do it on a
Right.
regular basis
Yeah.
are going to struggle with it.
And they're nervous about it.
Yes.
You ever seen one that's like,
Oh, yeah.
oh boy,
Get a little shaky.
I'll go ahead and try this, and they get
Uh-huh.
shaky, and
Yeah.
then
Just love people. I got it. I got this. Same people that think they're going to fight a hippo.
I'm hurt. Mark your calendar. Oh, phlebotomist. Is that what it's called? Right?
That's like someone who evaluates blood, right? I think that's less the intravenous access and more someone who studies the blood.
What was your mom's title?
Oh, she was on the lines team. She was an intravenous access specialist.
Intravenous access specialist.
Yeah, so everything from the needles into the arm to like ports and like central lines. That if you get like something surgically.
So that's
put in.
not just like the lab tech.
No,
who can draw blood.
Right, the lab tech can do that, but like if you get like a PICC line or like a port, that's more of like a like a central body procedure.
I think phlebotomist is right. I'm gonna trust my guy.
Phlebotomist is a blood person.
I like it.
All right, mark your calendars, guys. He's coming to town. Next on The Fan.
This is The Fan's Window into Sports, a view into today's top stories. Brought to you by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
Second and a long 4. Gets spread it out. Highsmith came around the edge. Rodgers has intercepted. Held away. Beatty Bishop, the rookie, reels it in.
Yeah, there you go. That happened out there.
What?
Aaron Rodgers.
Well, it happened. I wasn't listening, so I was trying to be generic about it. That was a big play.
Aaron Rodgers, Sunday Night Football. Sucks.
Big play.
Sports.
One of his interceptions.
Was that what it was?
That's correct.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he sucks.
Generic. Go sports ball.
Well, I was hoping you'd cover for me, but I don't think you were listening either, so that's a problem. Window into Sports brought to you by Window Nation. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, 0 down, no interest or payments for 24 months. Schedule an estimate now by calling 866-90-NATION or visiting windownation.com.
Were you listening to the dude's story?
Oregon Ducks football is on the Fan.
All right, welcome back. One more story for you here from your noted newsman. Now, this is news you can use, guys. October 21, 2024. Coming to town November 7th. TV personality DJ Pauly D.
Oh, get excited.
He's still doing something, huh?
Well, he's a DJ. And he is from MTV's Jersey Shore.
Yeah, and like 9 other spinoffs because they're still making a living.
Oh yeah, they got family reunions and
are they still doing that show?
Good for them, dude. Those sons of guns.
They are milking it. It's incredible.
For like 15 years.
Well, I will say about the DJ thing. Mm-hmm. So he is playing at the 45 East nightclub in Southeast Portland on November 7th.
I have no idea.
8 p.m. to midnight.
What that's about, but okay.
You think you and BTJ will go?
Hey, honey.
Want to go see DJ Pauly D?
Sad part is she'd probably be into it.
He will also be in Eugene, I think the next night. But it says his eclectic track selection, unique style, and infectious personality captivate crowds around the globe. He is now one of the most sought-after DJs in the world. His music library spans nearly every genre of club music, and he has the exceptional ability to mix in and out of top 40 and house music, introducing an entirely new demographic to quality dance music. I will say this about DJs. You never know who's going to be good at it, right? Like, if you see, like, for example, Shaq is apparently a DJ.
Yeah.
And, sometimes when people like that take up another gig, you're like, oh, come on. You just have the money to be able to do that. But, with the DJ thing, you never know. You never know.
I've been to...
It's such a skill that we don't really know who would be good at it and who wouldn't.
I just don't get it. Because I've been to, like, big events where they have professional DJs, and I'm like, really? Like, you're getting paid? By the way, would you care to guess what it costs to book DJ Pauly D?
Ooh.
It's got a minimum.
For this kind of show?
Yes. There's varying things, but there is a minimum to book.
I'm going to say 20 G's.
$40,000.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Which blows me away because I'm being dead serious. Is anyone out there, because at this point, like, I'm assuming the people that are going to this are very young people. Are 22-year-old kids literally showing up because DJ Pauly D from Jersey Shore from like 15 years ago is there?
That's kind of what I was wondering. Like, him going to Eugene.
What I'm saying.
Like,
maybe he's a good DJ.
Maybe he is a good DJ, but I was wondering if the college kids would even know who he is.
Well, because the thing about the DJ to me is, like, it doesn't matter.
He's 44.
Well, so he can still be a good DJ. I went and saw this guy named Afro Jack in Vegas at the Wynn.
I've heard of Afro Jack.
Yeah, and so I'm just like, oh my God. My kids wanted to go, right? So we get there. And I'm like, I'm going to be ducking out of this because he doesn't start till like midnight, right? Yeah. And oh my God, dude was so good and so fun. And I didn't know what to expect. I'm just an old, dumb sports guy. And, he played a lot of stuff from like Pauly D was saying, like from the 80s. And then you mix in it was cool. And he was really good. And he kept me interested, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
And so you just never really know with these guys. Like, I don't like, if the DJ is good, it doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
I'd put it that way. Now, I don't go to enough of them to know that if the DJ is bad, do people just start filing out, or they're just all high anyway, so they just have fun no matter what? But if you pay more to see the better DJs. But I'm telling you, this Afro Jack guy,
you liked him.
He was really good.
All right.
And I can see why. Like, it's one of those shows you walk away going, I know nothing about that guy, but I can see why he is one of the best in the world.
Like, I went to see, I was at a festival in Skrillex, which I think
that's a DJ.
He's a DJ, but it's like EDM. All I know is, dude, there were a lot of people there who were losing their S. It just fascinates me that you stand up there, like the old school DJ I get, like the old hip hop guys, you had the turntables. Now you just stand up there with your Apple, with your MacBook and hit play.
Yeah, a friend of mine got us tickets to see Deadmau5, like the
Deadmau5
with the big ears, and yeah, he just sat up there and punched the buttons on his computer. It wasn't like he was really doing anything. It's kind of strange.
Hey, good for him, man. That guy, 40 G's to show up. I'm sure you're doing just fine.
Put it on your calendar.
I'm going to pass.
November 7th.
I'm going to pass on that. I think if someone like me walked in, they'd be like, sir, I think you're looking for the Denny's next door.
They would think you're coming for your security job.
Well, I'd be a narc or something. They're not welcoming me.
Like, here's a vest. You'll be at the front door.
Exactly. Where's your T-shirt that says Where's your T-shirt that says security? Go away.
All right.
You're making the children uncomfortable.
That is in the news, October 21, 2024, brought to you by the Advocates Injury Attorneys at advocateslaw.com. The Hot 5 at 5 is next on The Fan.
Hey, it's Suk, and let's talk about
Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update first on The Fan. For the first time since 2012, the Oregon Ducks are the #1 college football team in the country. Oregon jumps Texas for the top spot after the Longhorns fell to the Georgia Bulldogs over the weekend. So now the AP Top 25 goes like this. It's Oregon #1, Georgia #2, Penn State #3, Ohio State 4, and Texas rounding out the top 5. Oregon's next opponent, 6-1 Illinois, is ranked 20th. That one will kick it Saturday at 12:30 at Autzen Stadium. Today we also got the kickoff time for next weekend's game at the Big House in Ann Arbor. That'll be another 12:30 kick for us here on the West Coast when Oregon takes on the Michigan Wolverines. Pair of Monday Night Football games on the gridiron this evening. The first one kicking in about 5 minutes between the Ravens and the Bucks. Baker Mayfield and company 4-point home dogs. You can see that one over on ESPN. Then coming up at 6 o'clock, Justin Herbert and the Chargers visit the Arizona Cardinals, Los Angeles, a 1-point road favorite. After the Dodgers punch their ticket to the Fall Classic on Sunday, the World Series matchup now officially set. It'll be Dodgers-Yankees with Game 1 taking place Friday at Dodger Stadium. Garrett Cole will get the ball first for the Pinstripes. The Dodgers Game 1 starter still to be determined. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Got a smart speaker? It's The Fan in your office and every room of your home. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Good afternoon. At the tone, Pacific Daylight Time will be...
It's 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
One step closer to my own personal hell.
This is Primetime on Sports Radio 1080 The Fan.
We expect the best. We're not afraid to break someone. Do you hear me?
Primetime is your source for the best in local, regional, and national sports.
Go ahead and clap. Mediocrity deserves applause.
Isaac Robb.
I'm miserable. I had to get up at 10 o'clock this morning.
Jason Sakanet.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
All right. Welcome back. Hope you're having a nice little Monday. It's your sports bros, Rop and Sook. I'm Rop's. Big Sook's right over there.
Right here.
Oh, dude.
Hope you're having a great one. Although I already said that. Pretty redundant there.
Nothing wrong with saying it again. We're
on the
just
radio.
I
really do
hope and love.
Yeah, I really do hope that for you guys.
Yeah.
Coming up this hour, Oregon sitting pretty. They're #1 now. We have our NFL Week 7 snail trail, where we'll talk about Deshaun Watson. I don't know if you saw, but
that was I was watching that live.
He is now hurt.
Well, I was watching the Red Zone when that went down, and boy, I'll tell you what, you won't find anyone that dislikes Deshaun Watson more than me, and actually thinks he stinks. He was arguably the worst quarterback in the NFL. I do not like people cheering for people getting hurt. That was bad.
Sabrina is a champion.
Yes.
We'll get to that. Club 1080, we've got a viral video, purpose pitch from the Orcas over the weekend. I'm not sure if you saw that.
Those Orcas, man.
And we have a haunted house that's accused of being an actual torture chamber.
That would be a great front when you think about it. Let's say like the old.
That's what they think is happening here.
Yeah, that's actually right? what they think is occurring.
Yeah, it's like what is that Sweeney Todd, right? Demon of Barber Street. You know, it's a nice cover for you.
Who's winning? What is occurring?
Apparently, the haunted torture house.
So that's in the club 6 to 7 right now. The Hot 5 at 5.
Oh. Hot topics, hot opinions.
Oh, Charlie, I'm hot today.
And hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victor Rico's Mexican Food. Discover Victor Rico's new savory menu items. Order in-store, online, or get it delivered straight to your door at victorricos.com.
I got something's on.
Number 5.
You know what? You do got something's on because we have 2 Monday Night Football games tonight.
Only one of them I will watch. My TV will be allergic to Cardinals Chargers, but my sports pants are very tight for this one that's on right now.
So the 4-2 Bucks hosting the 4-2 Ravens here in a few minutes, and then later tonight at 6 we get the 3-2 Chargers visiting the 2-4 Cardinals.
But the Ravens have figured out their issues and are starting to look like the team that I thought they were going to be at the start of the year. And I'm maybe a lot higher on them than other people, but I'm telling you, Tampa Bay is quietly putting together a nice little resume down there. I like Baker Mayfield. I like the Bucks more than some, and I think it's going to be a great game.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Is that right?
Ish.
Close enough.
He's returning to practice for the 2-4 Dolphins this week, and barring a setback, he plans to return against the Cardinals this Sunday.
See what this... I'm going to stop. I don't want to criticize him. Did you see what Tua is refusing to do? No. He's not going to wear a Guardian cap.
Oh.
And when asked, they were like, what do you... It's
4.
a proven thing. And he said, it's a personal decision. Like, how...
It seems foolish, doesn't it?
It just... We have something that we know, we absolutely know, can help you with concussions. And the only downside to it is you look a little silly, and your career, your livelihood is on the line, and you're refusing to wear it because you... The only reason to say it's a personal decision is just say, you think it looks dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was the Dolphins, I would mandate it. Be like, dude, you sit your ass down so you put... It's just silly. Hey, I've been in a couple car wrecks, but you know what? I'm not wearing a seatbelt. You know, it doesn't look cool. Man, my gosh.
The way it feels, no thanks.
Fun fact, Blazers will open their season before the World Series starts.
Yeah, whatever.
That feels weird. What do you mean, whatever?
The NBA season is upon us, and I'm telling you, this damn thing couldn't be further off my radar.
The Blazers host Golden State on Wednesday. The World Series will be Yankees-Dodgers for the first time since 1981, but it doesn't start until Friday.
Yeah.
LA opens as a slight favorite with home field advantage.
And while I am very sad that my Mets, the run ended, if you're Major League Baseball, you're a little excited.
They're doing backflips.
Yes. Yankees, Dodgers, and let me state for the record, even though they eliminated my Mets, F the Yankees, go Ohtani and go the Dodgers.
Utah offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig has stepped down.
Yeah, whoops.
His Utes ranking 108th in scoring. Yeah. This was his second stint there. He was back, had been back there since 2019. Washington is heading to Indiana this week, and ESPN's College Game Day will be there. But the 7-0 Hoosiers will not have their quarterback. Curtis Rourke is out indefinitely with a thumb injury.
He broke his thumb.
The backup is sophomore Taven Jackson, who led 4 touchdown drives in the second half against Nebraska.
Yeah, and I think 6 overall. I think 6 out of his 7 drives, and they blew him out, were scoring drives. So, I mean, that's a big deal, but I don't know if the second half is any indication. The backup's just fine. It's just fine. But I don't know. Indiana's a great story, and I'm telling you, look at their schedule. There's a path for the Hoosiers.
Number two.
A little late breaking news here from Adam Schefter that Deebo Samuel has been hospitalized.
Yeah, so he had, we knew that he had an illness. He tried to go in the Kansas City game. We saw him before jogging off the field, and it looked like he was going to throw up. He was kind of holding his mouth. Turns out, so we assumed it was the flu or bubble guts. Turns out he's got fluid in his lung. He's got pneumonia. He's in the hospital, and we don't know how long he's going to be in the hospital, but it's pretty serious.
Yeah, they're saying it is pneumonia, not good. They're also saying that Brandon Ayuk, Niners wide receiver, did tear his ACL. He is done for the season.
That team is old, and they are teetering.
Yeah, I think he also tore his MCL, too. There was another ligament in there. So... not good for Ayuk. Jennings was out. We don't know how long Deebo is. Sounds like McCaffrey hasn't had a setback. They don't think he's going to play this week, but maybe after the bye week. But they're sub 500 right now. The saving grace for them is that division may be very winnable at 9 games, but this doesn't look good for San Francisco right now.
2 quarterback notes. Browns, Deshaun Watson has a torn Achilles. We knew that, but they've confirmed it today. He is done for the season. And Raiders quarterback Aiden O'Connell out 4 to 6 weeks with a broken thumb.
What's interesting is there's some talk that the Browns may just ask him to retire.
Yeah.
Just, dude, let's take your money. And if you're Deshaun Watson as poor as you're playing,
why not?
Do you just walk?
Well, it depends on how much they're going to pay you.
Well,
go enjoy a life of massages
if
somewhere
they can
else.
get a doctor to say that he can't ever play again, he'd get the full amount.
By the way, Jaden Daniels, the other quarterback that got hurt Sunday, they're saying he is week to week.
Yeah, he's got a rib, right?
He has multiple ribs, Jason.
Well, he's got
but yes, one of them is hurt.
Deshaun Watson, by the way, is 29 years of age.
No, he's only 29. We'll get to him in a bit. Oregon, the new number 1 in college football this week. They are ranked number 1 in the AP for the 9th time. 7 straight weeks in 2010, once in 2012. That lasted all of a week. And now, the game time has been set for Oregon's trip to Michigan on November 2nd. That one will kick at 12:30 on CBS. And in recruiting news, On3 is reporting that the Ducks are the favorites to land the number 1 overall player in the class of 2026.
Yeah.
His name is Zion Ely. He is a 5-star edge rusher from Maryland.
And that the nation's number one quarterback recruit, is going to try to make a visit here in the next week or two, and is very high on Oregon. So things coming up very green right now for Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks on the field and on the recruiting trail.
The Hot 5 at 5 is brought to you by Victor Rico's Mexican Food. Discover Victor Rico's new savory menu items. Order in-store, online, or delivered straight to your door at victorricos.com. Oregon, number 1, next on The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube.
Well, it wasn't a great game on Friday, and that's why it's taken us a little time to get to it. But the big story is that Oregon is number 1 in the country this week in football.
So what happens when you bludgeon Purdue and then the number 1 team kind of S's the bed against Georgia?
Yeah, that game was lame.
Yeah.
I mean lame.
Are we talking about the Texas game?
No, I'm sorry, the Purdue game.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to talk about Oregon here.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
The worst thing that happened at Purdue was the Duck mascot losing his head. Did you see that?
Yeah. Ran into a friendly fire, ran into another Ducks player coming out of the tunnel.
There's nothing
there's
nothing worse that can happen to a mascot than losing the head. Like all panic ensues.
Yeah, and he put it right back on.
Yeah, you got him
real fast, but he looked like a kind of a long-haired bro.
Yeah,
in there.
Well, we've talked about it. Like Buck has known the Duck before.
When I was at school, there were 6 different people that served as the Duck for various events, whether it was like fundraising or different athletic departments. So my buddy was the Duck for track and field and women's basketball, but definitely not the football Duck. That's the special Duck.
How many Ducks do you think there are now?
I don't know. Probably a couple more, but I feel like the main one is the one that gets all the run these days. It's like the one that shows up on game day and football games.
Yeah, and they interview him even though he can't talk.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Do they unveil him? Like I know at South Carolina, Cocky is theirs.
Whoa.
Well, they're the Gamecocks.
That's his name?
Yeah. And then at the end of the season, they do a big reveal. And
oh, really?
Yeah, you get to take the hat off and be like, aha! It was me all along.
So you can get all the chicks.
Ready to rock.
Although the last one was actually it was a gal.
Or dudes.
Yeah. So you can be like, hey, I was cocky the entire time.
Well,
and I guess they signed like an NDA. You're not even allowed to tell like your friends that you're.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. I knew that was a thing at Kansas too.
Yeah.
This is the first #1 overall ranking for the Ducks since 2012.
Mm-hmm.
They are 6-1 as the #1 team. They lost in 2012. There's that promo running of Dirt and Sprague. You know, Dirt's a big Ducks fan.
Yes, he is.
And he said it makes him nervous being #1, and it probably should.
Really?
Well, it's not normal territory for Oregon. You know, I mean, this is a whole nother level. Like being.
Is there any difference between being 2-1? Like.
Well, yeah, kind of. #1, like that's staying there is hard, as we have seen.
Yeah.
So they lost. So they were #1 in 2012, and that was the game that they lost to Stanford in overtime.
Yep, 17-14.
Yep, and that they were #1 for all of 1 week.
So that did not last very long. Well, I mean, you got Illinois, right? So, I mean, I guess like when you look on the schedule, it's a test.
Well, they have several tests left. The question is I was thinking about this watching Texas, Georgia. If the Ducks take a rough loss like Texas did, and that wasn't just a loss, they got punched.
Yeah.
If the Ducks take that, and I don't know who can give that to them, but is it the worst thing if they get one of those?
No, I mean, especially now in this world that we're living in the playoff. I mean, obviously you want to try to win your conference title because that gets you the bye. Because it's one less elite team that you have to play. But yeah, let's say everything's cruising along. You're #1 in the country, and I don't know, Wisconsin, right? Who can't make the Big Ten title game. They give you one of those. Is it the worst thing? No.
What if Michigan does? You know, and I think Michigan's
so wonderful.
They're the new most overrated team every year. They're going to be now that they won the championship.
Yeah.
Every year, Michigan is going to be the most overrated team.
Michigan is not very good
because they won a championship.
Yes, this is not the same Michigan team. Far from it. But yeah, if you lose that game, nothing is over. Could it serve as a wake up call? I guess it would only be viewed as a positive thing if you felt like maybe you took your eye off the ball and maybe you were having some games where things weren't going that great. But I don't know. I just get the sense, and maybe I'm completely out in left field. Lanning doesn't really seem like the sort of guy that's going to allow that to happen. But we shall see, because like you said, they are #1.
No coach allows it to happen. It's just something that happens. Yeah. And I just don't. I mean, look, they are fast tracking to the Big Ten title game.
Yes.
I mean, and the schedule is favorable. Like, dude, this is coming up roses for Oregon so far.
Yeah.
And I'm with you that I feel like the staff, this just doesn't feel like another year where like you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. They're just damn good at every level, and they have a staff that's not, like you said, it's not going to let them.
Those first 2 weeks
take their eye off the ball.
The first 2 weeks were kind of wonky. They were very, very wonky, and since then, I will give them credit. They have improved pretty much each and every week, and they look really good and they look trustworthy.
One loss, it's just not going to kill them.
Nah.
And so maybe it becomes one of those things where, you're reading your own press clippings and a Michigan or Wisconsin sneaks up on you, maybe even Illinois this week. I don't know. But even if they lose one game, they could still finish ranked #1, and they could still finish winning the Big Ten and get a top 4 seed.
To me, the goal has to, obviously is the playoff, but the goal is to win the Big Ten. If you get to the Big Ten title game, everything that you want is still in front of you. Because if you get the bye, who cares who's the higher seed when it comes to playing in the neutral site bowl games? So in this world, winning the conference title is by far the most important thing. So when you look at the Big Ten championship game, if you just have one loss in the conference and you've already got a tiebreaker of Ohio State, one would think that puts you into the Big Ten title game. So
I wonder if they're going to be playing Indiana in Indianapolis.
Boy, wouldn't that be something?
In the Big Ten title game.
Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be awesome.
Did you hear the little nugget from Dusty that the Ducks stayed they stayed when they went to Purdue in Indianapolis to do essentially a dress rehearsal for that game, the same hotel they'd be?
If you ever listened to our show, you would know that has already been mentioned by us.
We did
today?
talk about it.
No.
No, last week.
Last week.
But
I don't remember last week.
It's funny when you look at Ohio State, like Oregon has a very favorable schedule. They're going to be significant favorites over every team that they play. What's the Illinois line?
21.
And by the way, I think that's the only ranked team left on their schedule.
That's high.
So
it feels high.
I don't know what they'll be ahead of Wisconsin, and maybe Wisconsin's ranked at the time. But right now, Illinois is the only ranked team. They're favored by 21. Where Ohio State still has at Penn State, and they do get Indiana. I mean, they have Michigan too, but right now Michigan feels like a road apple. They got Nebraska. Nebraska just got boat race. So it feels like when you look at Oregon, would you say that Illinois, Wisconsin, maybe, I guess Michigan, like there just isn't anything that really scares you. Whereas if you're Ohio State at Penn State and then the one against Indiana is like, oh my God. And here's the thing about Ohio State, with one conference loss, that Indiana game or the Penn State could loom really, really large in that you stub your toe somewhere else along the way, there's a good chance you're not playing in the Big Ten title game. That's the same thing like what happened like in the SEC when you lose 2 games. So I think Ohio State's schedule is way more challenging, and you don't have the luxury of having a mulligan in your pocket like Oregon does.
I think that one's coming up in just 2 weeks, that Ohio State Penn State game. I think it's going to precede the Ducks Michigan game on the TV schedule.
Well, I always love to look at if the college football playoff started today bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon would be the one, and they would play the winner of Tennessee LSU.
Yeah.
That would be the 8-9 game.
Mm-hmm.
And then on their side of the bracket, Penn State Boise State winner would play Iowa State.
Wouldn't that be something?
So you would have to beat LSU or Tennessee, and then you would get either Penn State, Iowa State, or Boise State to go to the, I guess it would be the final.
Yeah. I just think this year, being the first year of the playoff and the way it doesn't feel like there's these dominant teams.
In other words, Georgia, Texas, and Ohio State
yes,
are all on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah.
Or at least if it ended
today. I just think it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, because it doesn't feel like there's dominant teams in college football. It feels like there's a lot of vulnerability, and it's the first year that we get a 12-team bracket. So maybe we actually get some NCAA basketball vibes where, maybe we get one of the big boys, the Oregons, Ohio States, or whoever wins a national championship. But, maybe we get some early upsets. Maybe we do get an Iowa State.
BYU
maybe
over
we get
Ohio
a BYU.
State.
Boise State. What if Boise State finds a way in, and if you watch that Boise State-Oregon game, Boise State should have won that. What if we have Boise State that gets to knock off Georgia in the opening round, even if Boise State doesn't do anything after that? Boy, the college football, for all the people wanting to crap on it, sign me up for this all day long.
Oh, this whole thing's great.
It's going to be great.
Each race is great. These Power 4 league races are great.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of sucks is the unbalanced schedules.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of a crapshoot who plays who.
Yeah.
Because Oregon's getting a pretty good break on the schedule outside of Ohio State. We said that at the start of the year. Their schedule set up really nicely, particularly getting Ohio State at home.
Yeah, because you look at the way it played out, that, Michigan isn't very good. I mean, Michigan's flat out bad. Wisconsin's having a wonky year.
Well, you thought Michigan was your second toughest game.
Exactly. And Washington's having a down year.
I think Illinois might be your second toughest game.
It's possible.
Or it's Boise State.
Actually,
what the hell?
To be fair, it's probably that. It's probably Boise State. We just didn't realize it at the time.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing how far down the list that Michigan game has fallen.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've been into that, and what they're not even top 25 anymore.
Yeah,
No.
but be careful. That's
still
the
tough.
thing about being number one.
Yep.
You go into the big house, they'll rise up for 1 week.
Dude, their offense is...
It's bad.
So bad. I mean, it is... I just... It shocks me. I say this all the time in college football. I struggle when I watch college football teams, especially a team like Michigan, who clearly can recruit. their inability to find anyone, and I mean anyone that can throw the football, it shocks me how many college football teams are like this. But I mean, Michigan's offense is just it's beyond dreadful. So as of right now, it stands. I mean, Michigan just doesn't pose a threat to any real balanced team. And by the way, let me also point out that USC did it again.
Oh yeah,
and choked away another one.
We will get to that hopefully today, but I doubt it. I mean, it's already 5:30, broski.
Yeah, it's going quick.
We've got a whole load of college football talk tomorrow.
I do love loads of college football.
So you should tune in.
By the way, my Bucks look really good right now against the Ravens.
But up next, Deshaun Watson. Is he done for good? Complete with audio. Here's Buck.
Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by PG Long Floor Covering, Carpet, Hardwood, or Laminate, Flooring, Cleaning, or Restoration. Call PG Long, your Northwest flooring experts, pglongllc.com. First on The Fan. For the first time since 2012, the Oregon Ducks are the #1 team in college football. Oregon jumping Texas for the top spot after the Longhorns fell to Georgia over the weekend. It's Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Penn State 3, Ohio State 4, and Texas rounding out the top 5. The Ducks' next opponent, the 6-1 Illinois Fighting Illini, ranked 20th. That game kicks off 12:30 on Saturday at Autzen Stadium. We also got the kickoff time for next weekend's game at the Big House in Ann Arbor. Another 12:30 kickoff for us here on the West Coast when Oregon takes on the Michigan Wolverines. A pair of Monday Night Football games on the gridiron this evening. First one already underway. It's the Ravens visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield and company with a 7-0 lead as Mayfield is connected with Mike Evans for the first touchdown of that game. You can see it over on ESPN. Coming up at 6 o'clock, Justin Herbert and Chargers visit the Arizona Cardinals. Los Angeles, a 1-point road favorite. After the Dodgers punch their ticket to the Fall Classic on Sunday, the World Series matchup now officially set. It'll be Dodgers-Yankees with Game 1 taking place at Dodgers Stadium on Friday. Garrett Cole will get the first start for the Pinstripes. Dodgers Game 1 starter still to be determined. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Got a smart speaker? It's The Fan in your office and every room of your home. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan. It's time for Who's Leading the Charge? A look under the hood at the coaches, players,
All right.
Who doesn't love cows?
I don't.
Really?
I mean, I love to eat them.
Nah,
cows are pretty gross.
I want a mini cow. I don't know if you've seen the mini cows, but they're just, God, they're so adorable. I want to get one for my Akita to play with.
Well, Deshaun Watson has gone away.
Yep.
He blew out his Achilles. He has now had 2 ACL injuries and an Achilles, and he is only 29 years old.
And is in the process of a 2.5-year run here of arguably being the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, he was terrible after the long layoff, and he's had legal trouble. I mean, dude, the guy has just it's just everything has gone bad for him except for his bank account.
Yep.
And so is he done in Cleveland for good? So he's now done for the season.
Yep.
They still owe him, I think, like $48 million over 2 years, but his cap hit next year is like $73 million.
Yeah, I mean, it really isn't.
So what are they going to do?
I'll look here and see what he's got. So after this year, they would. I mean, $72 million. I mean, I guess if you went with a rookie quarterback, you could. There's some talk that they're going to try to push him to take an insurance claim and never play again. He's only 29 years old. If you're Deshaun Watson, do you have any backbone at all? Do you feel comfortable just saying, hey, I'm 29 and I'm walking away and this is my legacy, or is the legacy already ruined? You know, I don't know. But it's so awkward in that, you know, he's never been convicted of anything, but I think everyone with a brain believes that this guy is a sexual predator and a scumbag. And, you know, he blows out his Achilles and people were cheering. Like, in the stadium.
And he was at home.
But
he's also, they're cheering him because he's a bad quarterback.
He's a bad quarterback.
They aren't cheering him because of all of his.
No, if he had been playing better, no one would be cheering. And so it's awful in that you can cheer because he's a predator and a scumbag, but I don't feel like that's why. I think people are cheering because a guy that isn't very good got hurt. And that is an awful, awful thing. And, you know, and now you got Browns players that are, you know, speaking out, and I don't blame you. I mean, you just had a potential, you know, career ending injury and people are cheering for it. It's a weird situation that any other time I'd be like, that is the most scumbag maneuver, but it's him.
Can you boo a rapist who gets hurt?
Exactly, right? Like, if there was ever an embodiment of karma, it's Deshaun Watson. Like,
that might be tomorrow's poll question.
Can you boo a rapist?
Well, you can.
Yeah,
but I mean, what is the word that best describes booing a rapist who gets hurt? Is it warranted? Is it justified? Or is it disgraceful? I know somebody who is it that called it disgraceful?
There were a bunch. I mean, there were a lot of people that were coming out.
Well, I have some audio here.
Yeah.
Of his teammates, and we'll start with Myles Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
You know who he plays for?
I do, although maybe not for long. I mean, if you're Cleveland, there's some talk that maybe you just have the fire sale at this point.
I do know that.
Yeah, okay, so these rub me the wrong way. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But we'll play them for you here. It's Myles Garrett talking about Deshaun Watson getting carted off and the fans booing.
No one deserves that. I've seen him work his ass off to, you know, get back in here and you know, put a smile on his face and, you know, try to put everything that's outside the facility behind him. You know, death threats, people come to his house, people, you know, going after his family. No, like I said, no one deserves that. And I hate using the word deserves. I'm usually, you know, pretty consistent saying earned. He hadn't earned it, and he doesn't deserve it. You know, man does pretty much everything right. He's been a model citizen through college and most of the pros. He plays the game as hard as anyone I've seen. Puts everything on the line, willing to throw his body out there, and you know, he plays the game at 100 miles per hour, and you know, there's a risk of being injured, and that he took that risk. But we have to be there for him as a team, as an organization. We can't look down on the guy because of any mistakes on the field or anything off the field. You know, we don't have anything. We don't have any more high ground to look down on the guy.
See, and
I don't love that.
I'm with him right up into the point where a model citizen. No, you.
Well, he said to be fair, he said he's been a model citizen throughout his college career and most of his time in the pros. I mean, come on, man. That's
you just don't have to cape that hard.
That's
right. You
right.
can still say it's terrible to boo a guy when he goes down like that. I get that people have different feelings, but you don't have to be an apologist for his how he is as a human, because he's not good.
I just think it's weird that, and I think all the lawsuit stuff is over, right? Did he settle all of those?
He settled all of it.
All of them.
I think so. There is no criminal.
Yeah, no criminal. So he's done with all of them.
He's done with them. There was someone else that came forward, I think, recently, and I don't know if that one got settled or if it still hasn't progressed. But there was someone else that came forward recently. But all of that stuff, I believe, is all behind him. He paid it off, and
it's so weird. Like, these guys sound so. It almost sounds culty. It sounds like a cult.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to play Jameis Winston, and this is what really makes it sound like a cult. These guys sound almost brainwashed, and they're very cringy and out to lunch because, yes, I get he's your teammate.
Yeah.
It's more complicated for you than it is the Browns fan sitting in the stands.
Sure.
But can a teammate do anything to other people and his teammates will love him if he works hard?
Yeah.
It's like straight out of a freaking cult, man.
It's pretty weird.
It's so weird. Yeah. Here's Jameis.
The way I was raised, I was taught to love no matter the circumstances, especially for people who do right by you. I'm grateful that I had a chance to serve Deshaun, but I am very upset with the reaction to a man that has had the world against him for the past 4 years, and he put his body and life on the line for this city every single day, regardless of your perception, regardless of what you thought should happen with him. He committed every single day that I've been here to be the best that he can be for this team. And I know I come from the deep south, Birmingham, Alabama, Belsham, Alabama, so I know the standard that hungry fans want. But the way I was raised, I will never pull on a man when he's down. But I will be the person to lift him up. And that, all of us have unique experiences. All of us have circumstances, conditions, and facts that we face every single day. And I pride myself in being a man of increase and being a man that wants the best out of everybody. I tell myself every morning, what I want for myself, I want for everyone. And I do not want the treatment that Deshaun Watson has received from these passionate fans. I know you love this game. When I first got here, I knew these were some amazing fans. But Deshaun was treated badly. And now he has to overcome another obstacle.
Again.
So I'm going to support him. I'm going to lift him up. And I'm going to be there for him. Because I see the way he fights. I see the way that he works. And I know who he is as a person and as an NFL quarterback. And that's all I have to say to address him. I'm sending up my prayers. I already prayed for his leg. And I will continue.
You know, he's a sexual predator. He just is.
Well,
so
we know that.
This
is a real indictment on football. It really is.
It is.
Because this is where it makes the sport and the culture of the sport look really bad. Yeah. Because this FIBU cult-like mantra applies to even the worst of people. Yeah. Like, the only people I was thinking about worse than what Deshaun Watson did that we know of, OJ,
Ray Caruth,
like Aaron Hernandez. Yeah. And there were teammates talking about those guys like this. Yeah. It's a really bad look, and I just wish these guys, it's not everyone, but I just wish these guys would have a little bit more awareness of how this sounds, because they sound really out of touch, and it's really kind of sad.
Yeah, this idea that he's faced so much. No, he's faced the consequences of his own actions of being a sexual predator and sexually assaulting upwards of 20+ women that we know of. So, like, I don't get to be the world's biggest, and it's not even fair. I can't be a criminal and again be a sexual predator and then be upset when people have when there's blowback against me for my actions. Like that, you don't get to do that. But I'll also go, the only thing that I will defend the players about is this, that when Deshaun Watson got there, the fans were all in. The fans were making fun of the situation. Remember, there were tailgates of making fun of the women that were accusing him. They were all in on Deshaun Watson until Deshaun Watson wasn't very good. And that's the only part of this that there is some legitimate gripe on the part of Cleveland Browns players, is the fans were all ready to embrace the sexual predator when they thought that he was one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league. And it was only till after he turned out to be one of the 5 worst quarterbacks in the league that people started celebrating this. And that part of it is BS. In for a penny, in for a pound. And that I will defend them with. But this horse crap, he's a good teammate and a good person, stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
I just don't get why you have to volunteer the second part. You can even say he's a great teammate and we see him work hard, but the people bringing up his citizenry like that, I don't get it. You don't, because you don't have to.
Yeah, it is weird. And I'm never going to, fan behavior is what it is. Don't expect much from fans.
No. Fan behavior is going to be bad. It just is.
It's what it is. And you shouldn't, I don't know whether he deserved to be booed or not. It's not something I would do, but at the same time, Cleveland Brown NFL fan booing that, that it tracks, okay? Yeah. But I don't know. I consider myself a man of increase. Yeah. And so I would just...
What a line.
I would just like to state that I bet you that Myles Garrett is a good guy. I don't know. Is Myles Garrett a good guy?
I've never heard anything against him, but I don't know. I don't know him personally.
But boy,
out of touch.
And Winston, we know.
Are there super churches lining up for his services when he's done?
Well, I would love a reporter, and people don't because they're fearful of losing access. I would love a reporter when someone starts talking about what a great person Deshaun Watson is and what a great teammate. I would love a reporter to say, and what would you say to the 20+ women that accused him of being a sexual predator?
Who don't have a microphone.
Yes.
And they do.
And what would you like to respond to that? Because they didn't get $240 million guaranteed dollars. What would you say to those people? But no one wants to deal with that. And it's a complex issue because, again, we all know in the world of professional sports that when you're playing well, you can get away with almost anything. And when you're not, the boo birds come out. So that's the sad part is no one's booing the sexual predator. No one. In Cleveland, they're booing the piss poor quarterback play. And if you're going to boo something, you should be booing the fact that Cleveland went ahead and did that.
And that's the fans. But again, good luck defending fan behavior.
Yeah,
fans will be fans. But players coming out and defending Deshaun Watson's character.
Yeah, get at it.
You're so brainwashed, man. It's so weird.
I wonder where we've seen that before. But
by the way, the dude made $137 million, Watson, for 19 games.
Well, and again, it's a fully guaranteed deal. So regardless of what Cleveland does, he gets it.
Yeah.
And if they,
I mean, so far he has been paid $137 million. He's played 19 games. Yep. That's $7 million a game, and they have gone 9-10.
Yeah. Honestly, Cleveland's best scenario if they were to get rid of him, if they don't try to do the insurance thing, and that would have to be a doctor saying he cannot come back and play. I doubt that, even off of an Achilles. Is next year after post June 1st, they can cut him and take I think it's like a $73 million dead cap hit. So, and then at that point, you just go. I mean, the Broncos did it with Russell Wilson. You just mash the reset button, and we're like, well. We're gonna be in purgatory for a couple years.
Like he's showing no signs of anything good. So you just can't. And it's an Achilles, and we've seen what that does. Come on, dude.
It's time
cut bait.
Cut bait. Get rid of. You already get rid of Cooper. Trade Myles Garrett. Recoup some of the picks that you dealt for Watson, and you just hit a hard reset. And for the next couple years, you wander through the desert.
All right. Up next, she is a champion on the Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics, brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
Gabriel sends him out of the backfield, empty backfield. Gabriel to throw. Going to go to Whittington. He made the grab. Is that a touchdown? Yes, it is!
What a catch.
Holy cow, Whittington looks like a wide receiver with a grab on the left side of the end zone. How in the world he brought that ball down with the defender all over him?
Well, if you can hear a fist bump, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
You can hear Jerry go, yes, it is.
Yeah, it was light work, but 35-0. You got out of there, everyone relatively healthy. So mission accomplished, move on to Illinois.
Mods PDX, the future of building is here.
If you're considering new construction and want it done right and fast by a team that's focused on innovation,
we forgot the whole swinging his helmet at Mason Rudolph thing.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
I do remember that.
Now, does that mean he's a bad guy?
No, it doesn't.
Or he just got caught? You know, it's football. It's a violent game. You get caught up in the moment.
There's a difference between swinging your helmet and in a fit of rage. If if I'm judged off of things I've done on a football field, I wouldn't want that to be my character. But being accused of sexually assaulting and raping 20+ women, yeah, I think that's in a slightly different category.
When it's calculated like that and it's premeditated and you're planning that sort of thing over and over again, that's a different level.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So,
I don't even think enough justice has been done to.
I never spent a day in jail.
No way.
Well, yeah, but I meant like just justice in terms of people knowing what he actually did.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people. I mean, it came out like some of the complaints, what the women were saying, what he did.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many people actually know.
Yeah. Well, I think there's
what he was doing and the extent to which he was
doing. I think
it.
a lot of people, and this is like the Kobe Bryant thing. Once a victim settles, then I think a lot of people are like, well, you're in it for the money, screw you. And, you know.
And they probably can't talk about it
now.
Yeah,
and then it's just, you're just persecuting him. But look, it comes down to whether or not you can play. If Kobe Bryant hadn't been very good at basketball after the rape trial, no one would have given him the benefit of the doubt. And the same thing happened with Deshaun Watson. So it's a complex thing. I just feel like for whatever happens, I think Cleveland probably moves on after this year, post June 1st, probably just eats the $76 million. And it wouldn't shock me if Deshaun Watson has played his last meaningful snap in the NFL. But if he wants to, someone else will give him a shot because he's only 29 years old. And, we've seen, Cousins come back from the Achilles much older. Someone will give him a chance. But
You like that? You like that?
for whatever reason, something is broken in Deshaun Watson, and it's not physical, and he sucks.
Well, Sabrina was kind of broken last night.
Was not pretty.
But they still won.
Yes.
So it didn't matter.
That's kind of remarkable to have your star player go for that kind of performance and still win the championship game.
Dude, she went 1 for 19.
Yeah, I saw someone that put together a video, and it's a rough video. The play in the last couple of games, and they're going to 7 games next year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk that there's not that many teams in the league that these gals just wore down. And
well, it's not just this series though. It's Bartu talks about this. That guy's an animal. He runs numbers on WNBA, and one of his things in this, I'm not sure this is a betting trend that you can get behind now because, well, if we're talking about it, that means that we've missed the boat or the odds makers have caught up.
Also, the season is over.
Well, right, but he was saying that in the WNBA, the unders in the second half, take them all day because these gals are wearing out. Yeah. These games are too long.
Yeah.
And then you get them all the way to the playoffs and then another playoff series or however many playoff series they do. And now they're in a best of 5 and you can see it at the end of the game.
It's bad.
They are all gassed.
There's some really, really bad basketball, and congratulations to Sabrina. Congratulations to the New York Liberty. I don't like to blame officials because there's lots of plays that happen in games and we always point to one at the very end. See Oregon, Ohio State, right? I said that game, they had their chances other than that one play. But the WNBA took a title away from the Minnesota Lynx and gave it to the New York Liberty. I've never seen a worse call at a key moment. Maybe was it the Saints and the Rams, the pass interference call?
Yeah, the Nickel Roby-Coleman.
The non-call. Yeah, maybe that, but there was about 4 seconds left. The Liberty were down by 2, and Breanna Stewart got the ball at the 3-point line and traveled. I don't. One of the worst travels you've ever seen. Have you seen the play, Rob?
Yeah.
It is, dude. She takes like 4 steps. She just jumps before she ever dribbles.
Yeah, they don't call that anymore.
Really? You can just.
Well, they didn't call it.
You can just bunny hop multiple times, and right there, and then she drives and throws up some weird, awkward, horrid 15-foot jump shot. The Minnesota player is just standing there, doesn't really come anywhere near her, and they blow the whistle, bailing him out. She missed the shot. They challenge it. They go to the replay, and they upheld it. She hits 2 free throws, goes to overtime. New York wins. And then for the commissioner to come out for the championship celebration wearing like a pantsuit with the city skyline of New York on it.
That's a tough look.
Look,
go with some muted tones there.
You could not have pissed away more goodwill if you're the WNBA than you just did. And
well, yeah, they can. You know how they can? They might strike.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
That's the other one. Yeah, the players
next year they might strike.
The players are opting out of their contract and they want to renegotiate for a bigger piece of the puzzle. Boy,
the pie, probably.
You want to talk
really
if you want to talk about cutting your own self at the knees, dude. If they're dumb enough to strike, good luck to you.
Wrong time for that. Kill all the momentum you've ridden with Caitlin Clark.
Well, you already hate the big marketable star that you have, and seemingly do everything to try to make her not a star, which boggles the mind. I would also like to point out in this unprecedented time of growth in your ratings, which, by the way, Caitlin Clark's regular season games still rank higher than
Caitlin Clark is white.
Your finals and playoff games, but still. You lost $40 million as a league. This year, you lost $40 million. And the players are like, no, it's time we get what we're worth. Boy, good luck.
They have their right. I just wanted to give Sabrina a little props because I know if we didn't get to it today, we would never get to it. So she is a champ.
She is a champ.
After going 1 of 19.
Well,
it's like something I would do.
Well, I can go 1 of 19. I don't know if I can go 1 of 19. I can go 0 of 19.
I can hit one.
You think you get one?
I get one up, or I get 20 up.
Yeah.
I can hit one. Yeah.
You get one. Stand at a 3-pointer or just like
I could hit a 3.
You hit a 3?
Hell yeah, dude.
I'd feel better more about a 10-foot set shot.
I'm open.
You're open.
They're leaving me open anyway.
That is true.
I'll knock one of 19 down. I could do that.
You just clapping for the ball?
Yeah. Hey. Heat check.
Right here.
Right over here.
I don't think I'd get 20. I think I'd blow an Achilles.
Well, you got to be careful.
How many times could I get up and down the floor before?
Well, you just take it slow.
Yeah.
They don't need anything out of you.
Do the cherry pick thing. Let everyone else play defense.
I'd be a bit of a defensive liability, I think.
1 3-pointer. That's all we need.
1. Again, can I give you a 15-footer? Can I give you a
no.
Nice little elbow jumper?
I don't like this 3-point. I don't
well,
like this.
She wasn't 1 of 19 from downtown, though.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe, yeah, all right, so we'll give that to you. We'll give you that.
Yeah, I'll give you 1. I
don't think you could.
If I manage to not blow something out.
What if you did blow something out and still hit it?
Kobe Bryant style, tears his Achilles. I'd have to get fouled.
Legend.
I could probably go to no, because then you're asking me to shoot a free throw. And I'd have to, I mean, the chances of me making 1 out of 2 free throws, that's decent, 50-50, but with a blown Achilles, I don't know if I'm getting that for you. I only have amateur blowing needs.
Whoa.
That's true.
But you're a man of increase.
I am a man.
So.
I'm a man of increase. I just got a great idea.
What a stupid thing to say. A man of increase.
I don't even understand it.
I don't either.
But I love
dumb.
it. And I'm going to start using it.
You're
As a matter of fact,
need that as a drop, probably.
that might go on my Twitter profile.
A man of increase.
Increase and great integrity.
You're a man of action and a man of increase. By the way, do we know what that means? Does anyone look that up?
No.
No, I don't think he knows.
Is he? I don't think he's doing the. I don't think you're. He keeps saying that.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he meant.
What you think it means?
All right, the club is next. We have Haunted House Talk on the Fan. Hey, what's up? It's Rob, but you already knew that. Sticking around for Window Nation. Well, the weather's here. Sucks. It's cold. Well, it's not that cold, but it's getting colder. As a matter of fact, I was reading today, we might have the first freeze soon, which is no good. And so going into the fall with this colder weather coming, it is a great time to buy new windows for your home. Not only will it make your home look better aesthetically, but it will save you money. First of all, at Window Nation, when you buy 2 windows, you get 2 windows free, and that deal is unlimited, so you 50% off. But the other thing is it will help you save a bunch of money on your energy bills because your windows will be tighter, keeping that air. Check them. Are they moldy? Do they leak? Is there condensation? Do they open properly? Do they stay open? Are they hard to open? All those can be signs you need new windows. So go to Window Nation and please tell them you heard it from Asachi here in Portland. They know me. I'm the window daddy. I'm the only window daddy out there. You can trust me. I know what's up. Window Nation. Buy 2, get 2 free. Pay nothing, no interest, 2 full years. To get on their sketty, call 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Asachi.
Reynolds Defense Firms. One promise. This is McDaniel Reynolds with the Reynolds Defense Firm.
All right, nice to have you along Monday night.
I mean, Mike Evans out of the game. I don't like that.
Yeah, he's hurt.
Yeah, I got a hammy. Mike Evans,
There's
the most
two of them.
underappreciated football player of the last 10 years.
It's a hot sports take.
It is a hot sports take.
All he does is 1,000 yards and like 10 touchdowns every year.
The dude is a machine.
So I've got haunted house news.
Ah, the old haunted house. It's been a while.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't go to haunted houses.
Went to one, I don't know. It's probably been 5-6 years. That was when I was single. That was always one of those girls were like, let's go on a date night to the haunted houses.
Big, strong man. Got to keep them from being scared.
Yeah, she wants you to carry her through there.
Something like that.
Like a boss.
Like a boss, yeah. And then I had a run-in. I mean, gosh, that was probably more like 12 or 13 years ago. There was an incident in one of those full contact haunted houses where, I had to be removed. There was a dude that got grabby with my wife. Because they have those where they have those haunted houses where they say they'll make contact with you.
Well, that's kind of where we're going down the road with this next story, I think.
Yeah, and there was a dude that was grabbing. He was grabbing more than just people. That was a thing.
A Tennessee haunted house dubbed a torture chamber under disguise is still operating, despite the owner being probed for traumatizing visitors and calls for the sadistic experience to be permanently axed.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this place before.
Have we talked about, is this one legendary for this?
Yeah. It's called McCamey Manor.
Okay.
And it is a controversial house of horrors in Summertown, which is about 70 miles southwest of Nashville.
Okay.
And for years, they have dodged complaints of violence and inhumane treatment against participants who at one point, this is why I remember we talked about it, they had to sign a 40-page waiver just to enter.
That seems a bit excessive.
Some participants said they were waterboarded, tased, whipped, taunted with spiders.
I do remember this.
And trapped in boxes during their no-escape nightmare.
Yeah, I do remember this one. When we talked about this. Yeah, the waterboarding is the one that I remember. And I think there's a trailer for it online.
Wasn't there something with teeth pulling too or something?
Yeah, the Twisted Attractions waiver indicates that tooth pulling, finger breaking, or head shaving also might have to be endured.
Boy. And yet people signed these waivers and went to this place.
Well, the owner, his name is Russ McCamey, said, "We're known for no quitting and no safe word." He has been running the haunted house since 2017. There is this has been kind of drummed up again because there's a new documentary on Hulu about this place.
Is there?
Yeah, it's called Monster Inside, America's Most Extreme Haunted House.
Okay.
And it says either you actually complete the tour, which is not going to happen, or you mentally or physically are at such a breaking point that it's not safe for you to continue and I will take you out. That's what he said.
But who makes the determination?
Apparently they do.
Because they say there's no safe word. So I asked the question, if I say I'm done and you say I'm not, and you keep doing things to me, what's to stop me from doing something back to you?
Or suing him.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, probably that waiver you signed.
Well, but that's waivers, that doesn't exist.
Well, you can still do something back, but they're not going to be...
Yes, they will. That's the thing. That's like the whole Pac-12. You can't sign a contract that allows someone to torture you. If you sign a contract that says, hey, by the way, there's teeth pulling in here or these things, you can't do that.
I'm very confident.
Yeah. You can't sign a contract that says I'm going to beat you to an inch of your life. None of that stuff holds up in court. So
I love how you brought the Pac-12 in on a big torture.
Remember
You're a man of increase.
Yeah, I am a man of increase. Remember the Pac-12 sued the Mountain West saying for the exit fees.
Being a man of increase?
And it was like hey, you signed that, but the Pac-12 signed it knowing that that's not an enforceable thing. That's like if I as a parent signed a waiver saying you can do something to my kid. No, none of that stuff holds up. So these waivers that people sign, by the way, you sign a waiver when you go to a hospital, you sign a waiver when you get on an airline. That doesn't mean that the hospital and the airline gets to do whatever the hell they want to. That's not the way this works. So if someone is endangering my life and I reach up and grab your arm and snap it, you don't get to be like, well, that's you're not allowed to do that. You have to
you signed up for this.
You have to lay there and take it. Yeah, no.
So he told the Daily Mail over the weekend that his attraction is returning again this year. And he says, if all of those crazy, horrible things said about me are true, I wouldn't be free running around doing what I'm doing, which is a fair point.
Yeah.
Because you would think.
But also isn't exactly a denial of all the things you're being accused of.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's honest about it. He's like, look, we make you sign a big, hefty waiver.
Yeah, it's extreme.
And it is intense, but he's claiming, look, this is what people want.
Yeah, people want to be scared.
And he's also claiming that they really do find manipulative people. In other words, what you're claiming, or I'm sorry, people that are easily manipulated.
Sure.
What you're claiming is he wouldn't let you in there.
No.
Because he knows,
Yeah.
the second you allude to something like that, he's like, dude, you're not going into my haunted house. This is for people who I can sort of guide through.
Yes.
And scare the living daylights out of them and then take them out there and so they'll thank me. Take them out of there so they'll thank me.
Yeah, I remember this. I'm watching the trailer and I do remember us talking about this, and it is, it's pretty freaky.
Kind of intrigued by this documentary now. I didn't know
Yeah,
they made
100%. I know. You said this on Hulu?
Hulu.
And what's it called?
Monsters Inside.
Okay.
Or no, Monster Inside, America's most extreme haunted house.
Someone's asking, do they have to sign a 40-page waiver to enter Rob's sex dungeon? What's the waiver situation like in your basement?
Sign an NDA going into Joey's house?
Ain't no waiver, bro.
That's just a free-for-all.
I did sign it at Joey's house, though.
It amazes me that these places exist, but
yeah, people like them.
People love that stuff. It's just I wonder how many people regret it. Like he does bring up an interesting point in that if all these things were true, he still wouldn't be here, and he would have been sued to oblivion or be in prison, right? So, but
it's just an extreme haunted house.
It's an extreme haunted house. But I would be intrigued to know how many people go and enjoy it because of what it is, and how many people are really horrified and being like, I will never go back and do this again.
So he says there are people who have complained about being dragged with heavy chains or locked into confined spaces while water pours in. That would be terrifying.
That would be terrifying.
Participants have been required to present proof that they recently had a healthy physical exam and take a background check.
Yeah, to find out. Like I said, you can't have someone violent and like.
One online petition attached tens of thousands of signatures in a bid to have it shut down, advertised as an extreme haunt when in fact it is not a haunted house. It is a torture chamber under disguise.
Yeah, when I am seeing some of the stuff, it certainly doesn't have all the traditional elements of a haunted house. It looks like a Saw movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they're holding people down in like pools of I'm assuming fake blood. They're inserting things like devices into people's mouths. They're restraining them and tying them up. It's a weird sex thing is what it looks like.
They do screenings to find the weakest, most easily manipulated people to do the haunt. If Russ doesn't think you're easily manipulated, you aren't allowed to go. Yeah. That's what I was talking about.
So that's kind of weird, right? That you're basically picking off the weakest prey. It's like, I don't know.
Well, I think he just wants the right people in there. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's literally just a kidnapping and torture house.
Right, so then it seems like, though, if they're making all the selections, it's not even really up to the people who are coming, whether they get in or not. Like, it's more for them, the people running it, than it is for the people going there.
Yeah, except I think that there are certain archetypes that get what they're trying to do and love it and will pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, there are a whole lot of weird people out there that get off on this sort of stuff. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's certainly interesting. I don't understand the psyche of people that want to go do this, but
McCamey has recently found himself embroiled in another legal drama. Can you guess what that might be? He is a man of increase.
Is he
being a man
sued
of
for something
increase
outside of the haunted house for some sort of sexual misdeed?
He was arrested over the summer for attempted murder, rape, and domestic assault. Involving his girlfriend.
Yeah. I was going to say, man, if this is what you're cooking up in your public life.
This is your life's work? Yeah, you got to screw loose.
I'm not certain what you want to.
The charges were dropped.
In the private. Oh, well, that's good. So, no harm, no foul. I just remember the one I went to. I mean, gosh, this was so many years ago. And I don't remember. It was somewhere over in Portland. And my wife and I got roped in by two other couples, which, by the way, never do couple things. It never turns out well. And they just told us it was a haunted house, but it was like a super scary haunted house because they could bump into you. Like we were, and I think remember at the time saying like they could grab you or they could push you. And yeah, the all the ladies in our group kept getting whenever the guys would push us, it was just someone like reaching out and like, like ha, that sort of thing, and they would like, they may grab your arms. With the girls, there was a lot of picking them up from behind, if you know what I mean. and they were, it just, I was like, you got to be kidding me. And like at the first time, it was like, all right, maybe that's a fluke. Like the fourth time it happened, we were like, dude, you're grabbing TNA now.
No. Strong no.
So we asked the guy, like we like did the timeout, stop, like we're done. And they did the, like, you have to go forward. And I said, that's fine. We're going forward. No one else touches us the entire time. Turn on the light, whatever, walk us out, escort us out. We'll go out the front door. And they still tried to do but it's super spooky. And then eventually I touched one of the people coming back. And then everything got real. And it was like, oh, okay. Fine, we're done.
Dude, settle down.
Yeah, like, hey, no one wants any problems. And we're like, okay, dude, just let us out the exit and we'll go on our way. This is that's a whole other thing, what's happening here. Like, I'm with someone. That doesn't look like a haunted house. That just looks like a weird sexual torture chamber. That's what gets you off. Where's Tennessee, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, go to Tennessee.
Outside of Nashville.
Yeah.
All right, viral video news.
Boy, that trailer on this is freaky. Look up on YouTube.
I watched it today.
Boy, it is.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, like that. Like shoving you in a coffin and just dumping.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I can see people who are going, they like the idea of the haunted house.
Yeah.
But haunted houses are kind of stupid because you just know that they're all just basic.
Yeah.
So the idea of the elevated haunted house.
Yeah, I can see that.
I see a market for that.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean, I don't know. Are there other elevated haunted houses that are like this?
I don't know. Is there
seems
anything
like
that anywhere around here? This it's a deep south thing, right? Like,
is it?
I bet this is not one of a kind. I bet there's somebody else who does, some other creep who gets off on this sort of thing. Like, I don't know. 40 pages for a disclaimer or for that sort of deal.
But the thing is, it's not just the creep. It's the people that do it. They want that.
They want it. They want.
Which makes me think there would be others, because if there's a demand for it there's probably elsewhere.
That's what I'm saying. Like the elevated haunted house has got to be a thing, but I've never really heard of it other than this one.
Yeah.
Because because like basic haunted houses are stupid.
Yes.
You go through there, it's like, and maybe they're for kids or something. I don't know, but I could be talked into one that's like, dude, not like this. Like, keep your hands off me.
Yeah.
But if one was really good and everybody was raving about it, like, dude, this is really good.
Yeah.
It'll freak you out. I'd be up for that.
We went to one I don't know if they still do it. They did Fright Town and they did it at the Memorial Coliseum. And that was pretty good. I'll give that credit. That was not like no one touched you or anything. And but it was solid. I remember going to that one a number of years ago and thinking that Fright Town was a, for what it was, like a date night out for Halloween, that's an above average haunted house. But this, someone duct taping your mouth shut and,
Yeah.
Boy,
I don't like being locked in a confined space with water coming in there.
Oh, dude, they put in the video, they put someone in one of those chest freezers and shut the, like, yeah, that's, I don't like that. Some of this stuff is, you just go on YouTube, do the McCamey Manor, and you'll see the video that kind of started it all, like their first trailer, and it's something else.
All right, the club continues next on The Fan.
Being a man of increase.
Oregon Ducks football is on The Fan.
Ohio State showing pressure. Gave it to he kept it. He's going to get a first down or more. 20 inside of
hot tub.
Well, the Orcas have thrown a purpose pitch our way.
Well, they've done it many times. Don't mess with the AKA killer whales.
Yeah.
Why do we think they're so friendly? They're not.
They're eating the pets.
They eat everything. They
I
hunt
love
great
cows.
They'd eat a cow. Imagine a sea cow. Great white. They eat great white sharks, for God's sake.
Did you see the cow one, the latest? That one, where that came from?
I love cows.
Oh yeah, the kid asking him what his favorite farm is.
I have the full bite. If we want to hear that, we may not want to hear that.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're supposed to.
No, I don't think we're supposed. Somewhere the boss is like, knock it off. Hey, he likes cows.
Yeah, because he's a Trumpy.
You do it anymore, you're gonna have problems.
That's right.
We have a Trumpy for a boss.
It's a good American.
I love cows.
Salt of the earth.
I love cows.
Dude, they're just great.
They're eating the dogs.
they're great drops.
As are Asians.
Where were we?
I have concepts of a plan.
We're talking about the killer whales.
Oh, the orcas.
Yeah, the orcas.
Did you see the viral video of the orca taking a crap?
Oh, and then splashing the people?
So I don't know where that was.
Yeah, because I thought SeaWorld is banning them.
But they...
oh, no, this is in San Antonio.
Yeah, the orca's flying around doing orca things, performing for people. And he poops.
Yeah,
or she.
Big old nasty
big
dump.
Old, yeah, and you can tell it's like...
Big cloud of green, brownish water.
Right.
And then the orca
and then I don't know if it's the same orca or another one comes around and it's like, oh, watch this. And he takes the filthy poo brown water and splashes it up onto the people in San Antonio.
Bad day to be in the front row.
Well, and I'll tell you what, the orcas are really smart. That that's 100% a purpose.
Isn't that great?
By the way, I thought these shows were banned. I didn't think they could do them anymore.
No, they've been doing them. I just think they had to change all because of blackfish and all that.
Yeah.
They had to change the regulations.
Well, I know trainers aren't allowed in the pool with them.
I
just thought they were banned. And by the way, the saddest part about that is you can see the killer whale's dorsal fin. It's all slumped over and that happens to them in captivity. So it's a tortured animal.
Yeah, I also think I want to say they can't take them in anymore for that.
Yeah, I think.
But the ones that are already there, they can't release, so they can keep.
Yeah. They can keep torturing them.
Well, doing shows,
AKA torturing them with their sad, slumped over, depressed fin. I'm glad that those people got doo-doo water dumped on them. It's you support that crap. I'm all for that. That whatever happens to anyone in that crowd, they deserve it. Go whale. I've got the poo in my hands. Go Team Orca on this one. I hope someone gets E. coli off of that. It's so gross, though. Yeah. Have you ever smelt whale poo?
No.
You have? Yeah, when we were in Iceland, we went on a whale watching and puffin excursion.
Okay.
So there's an island out there, Puffin Island, that's it's the largest collection of puffins in the world. And so my daughter wanted to see the puffins. That was pretty cool. And so they said, we'll take you out to Puffin Island, and while we're there, you get to see all the whales. And I think they were humpback whales. And so we see the whale, and the guy's like, hey, we're going to try to pull up close to it. And so the whale was right there, right off the side of the boat. And everyone was like, oh, my God. It was just chilling. You could see the back of the whale, and then it happened.
I love cows.
The entire sea just turns orange, like a orangish clay. And we're like, oh, and then the smell hit. Oh, my God.
You could smell it up there, huh?
It was horrific.
He dropped one on you.
Imagine the worst diarrhea smell you've ever dealt with. And then it was just everywhere. Imagine the size of a humpback whale's doo-doo.
Bad diet?
It was awful.
Well, don't they eat those little fish?
Yeah, they eat the plankton and the little krill or whatever.
Wait, they do? I thought those were the bigger whales. I thought that the orcas did.
Well, this is
you said humpback.
Yeah, these were the humpback whales. But that was my first.
Hey, nice catch though, Buck. You were actually listening.
Yeah, that was my first encounter with whale dung, and let me tell you, it is horrible.
Were you listening to the dude's story?
So, luckily, the humpback whale did not splash anyone with the doo-doo.
Yeah, he could have though.
He could have.
I wonder if he took it easy on you because.
Well, he wasn't in captivity.
Yeah, and you guys were being nice.
Yeah. No one was, whatever. Our boat just pulled alongside of him, and But he easily had that whale flap the tail. I would have been hit because I was leaning over. Like, I was leaning over the railing looking at it. I would have gotten a face full of doo-doo whale water. But luckily, the whale was cool, and all I had to do was smell it.
Do you think that you would go whale watching if you knew that there was a good chance you would get face full of poop water?
No.
You wouldn't go whale watching?
No.
I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that it's happening.
50-50? No. Knowing how that poo smelled. Because when we were out there, I mean, it was like a 5-hour sort of thing. I mean, it was a long way out. And they served us food and all that. And knowing that I would have had to go the rest of that trip covered in whale dew? No.
What if they give you little hazmat suits?
Well, we were wearing, because it was
Niagara
winter in
Falls
Iceland.
situation.
Yeah.
We did have we got on like jumpers. We put on like big warm jumper suits. But it would have been everywhere. It would have been in your no. There's just nothing you were going to convince me would have made the whale doo-doo okay.
Tell that to Clay Helton.
I guess. Dude, my fart was nothing. There were people that were getting nauseous from the whale smell.
Really?
They were doing the and had to back off of the railing.
I love a good almost up chuck.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny.
And
My wife does it some.
Yeah.
And I laugh.
We all know that, the O phase. And then there were kids Mommy, what's that smell? Moms were like, well,
it's poop, you little idiot. Did you not see it?
Did you see and the cloud you can't miss it.
Pay attention. There's a whale. How do you not know what that is? My God.
Yeah.
Moron kids.
Yeah, it's bad. Very, very bad. But I mean, in some ways, maybe I'm blessed because I don't think that's common when you go whale watching to pull right up alongside one of them and then have it take a
Sometimes
dump.
you don't even see them.
No, dude, we saw a bunch of them. I think Iceland might be the home of I think that might be the whale capital of the they're everywhere.
Look, man, it never gets old. You see a whale in the wild.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah. We didn't see any great breach. What are they? The full breach?
Yeah, like the big.
Yeah. We saw plenty of ass. We saw a lot of whale ass. Plenty of tail, plenty of whale ass.
I ate ass.
But we never saw the big full, the big full breach.
All right. Open segue. You guys love those. Next, here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on The Fan. For the first time since 2012, the Oregon Ducks are the #1 team in college football. Oregon jumping Texas for the top spot after the Longhorns fall to #5 Georgia. Meanwhile, a pair of Monday Night Football games going on right now. In Tampa Bay, the Ravens looking for a field goal just before the half. They're already up 14-10, looking to make it a 7-point lead going into the half. Meanwhile, the Chargers and Cardinals just got going. They're still in the first quarter. Actually, they're just approaching the second quarter, and that game is currently scoreless. Injury fallout from Sunday's games in the NFL include a ruptured Achilles for Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson, a torn ACL for 49ers receiver Brandon Ayuk, and 49ers receiver Deebo Samuel has been hospitalized with fluid in his lungs due to pneumonia. There's no timetable for his return. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Live, local, and free. No subscription required. Portland's sports leader is 1080 The Fan.
Well, with the weather changing, October is a critical time to check your home's windows. If yours are cracked or leaking, perhaps they won't open or stay open, then it's time to call the pros at Window Nation. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you will get 2 more free, and there is no limit on how much you could save. Plus, you can save even more with 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's 2 full years you don't have to pay for it. Window Nation's windows come with a lifetime warranty. They can be installed in
It's cheap nice.
Oh yeah.
Like there's no. It's all. It's all strip malls. They're just nice strip malls.
Well, it's a suburb, right?
Yes. Yeah. Bellevue,
that's what suburbs are like.
Yeah, Bellevue sucks. It just is. It's very sanitized, and there's nothing remotely interesting about it.
Now, would you say that about Bellevue if you had a great experience at Audi Bellevue? I'm guessing you wouldn't.
I don't know, man. I stayed up. I've been to Bellevue twice. Now it's the third time, and I felt like culturally there's just nothing going on. It seems like the most boring, sanitized Karen place you can be. Whereas just a bunch of rich people are just there to like be rich and get away from poor people. It's not.
It appears it is mostly white and Asian.
There is a lot of Asians. Yes, that is true.
Yeah, it says
Azerasians.
Yeah, the Azerasians are up there.
A lot of Azerasians.
It says, oh my gosh, 43% white, 41% Asian.
They had a nice marina that we went down to, but even the marina was like, while it was beautiful, there was nothing happening at the marina. It's the most plain, boring French vanilla place I've ever been. That just seems, again, very sanitized for your protection.
Well, screw them.
Yeah.
French vanilla or vanilla bean? What's your preference?
I'm going to go vanilla bean.
Yeah, I'll take vanilla bean.
I think that's right.
At the same time, like, if you're just eating plain vanilla, unless that's with a piece of pie, what are you doing getting plain vanilla? Like, come on.
Did you know they used to have a ABA team?
Bellevue?
Yeah.
No. Can't say that I knew
Yeah,
that.
the Bellevue Blackhawks.
Why wouldn't that just be in Seattle? I do know that.
Well, they weren't.
I kind of feel like they were. It's like a lot of teams aren't actually in the city that they rep. No one just wants to be Bellevue. You would just claim it. Like if you built the new arena in Bellevue, it wouldn't be the Bellevue Blackhawks. It would be the Seattle Blackhawks.
Yeah, they played in Bellevue, and they had they were ranked 13th in the league in 2005, but they made it to the championship game in front of 15,000 fans in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah.
But the very next year, they became inactive.
By the way, the Las Vegas Raiders do not play in Las Vegas. They play in Paradise. The Dallas Cowboys don't play in Dallas. The Washington team
Wait. The Raiders don't play. Isn't that's
not within the Vegas city
It's
limits?
right on the strip.
Says they play in Paradise, Nevada. Is there a line right there?
There must be.
Yeah. I just did the little search. I said sports teams that don't play in their city. The Cowboys play in Arlington. Washington plays in Landover, Maryland. The Dolphins play in Miami Gardens, not Miami.
49ers in Santa Clara.
Buffalo and Orchard Park. That's not Buffalo. Los Angeles Chargers and the Rams, they both play in Inglewood, not Los Angeles. And the Bears are moving to Arlington Heights. So, and that's just in the NFL.
They are who we thought they were.
But yet no one wants to be the Arlington Cowboys. It doesn't make any sense. So, no offense to the Bellevue Blackhawks. Just no one wanted to claim your crappy sport.
Yeah, this says the Raider Stadium is on Al Davis Way in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I don't know why that says that. Because, it's not far from the Strip. You can see it.
Maybe headquarter or training facility is
Yeah, that might be right.
Paradise?
That might be right. Because then they build a big new thing for him out there.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know where that's at. But the stadium,
in Paradise, dude.
The stadium surprised me because you can clearly see that. The Braves, right? The Braves don't play in Atlanta.
That's right.
It's like when they teased us with the Tualatin NFL team here in Portland.
What a dream that was.
Jets and Giants, right? That's not even in the same state.
No, they're in New Jersey.
That's the weird thing. Like, if you're a New Jersey fan, are you a little like, what the hell, man?
The Niners are down in Santa Clara. Did you mention that one?
Yeah, Buck brought
Thanks
that
for
one
paying
up.
attention.
Damn it, I did it. I pulled a Buck.
Tampa Rays, they're not. They're in St. Pete.
Were you listening to the dude's story?
The Pistons don't play in Detroit.
Losers.
They play in Auburn Hills. So in theory, like when we build the baseball stadium, we can build it in Vancouver. You could build that stadium. You could build it in Vancouver, Washington. You could build that along the new Washington waterfront, and it would still. How pissed off, by the way. Like, if you want to talk about how angry you could make Portlanders, that if you got a Portland baseball team, but you built it in Vancouver, Washington, but you called it Portland. How much do you think some Portlanders, like, obviously people would support it, but how much blowback and people were refusing to do that because they're like, it's not our team, it's not Portland?
Yeah, there'd be some, but I'd be there. I'd be up there.
You know there'd be serious pushback, though.
By the way, what is the best Seattle suburb? Do you have that? Do you know that?
I think it's just... I think it's just called West Seattle. Have you been over there?
Well, I've been to Seattle. I don't really know.
I think it's just called West Seattle. It's over the bridge, and it's on a beach. It's like a little mini Hawaii. It's a completely different vibe. And I think it's just...
Is that Bainbridge Island or like Mercer Island? Or?
No, it's not an island. Mercer Island's on the other side. It's just like, it's literally just right on the other side of the sound. I think it's just called West Seattle.
The text line will have us on this.
Yeah, text line help me out if there's an actual name for the neighborhood, if they just call it West Seattle. But you cross over the bridge to the other side, like right across, and there's a ferry that goes back and forth, right? So you can go over, for work. So it's right from downtown Seattle. It's right across the water. And it is an amazing little suburb that feels nothing like Seattle. It's a whole beach vibe. You feel like you're more in Malibu or Hawaii than you are in Seattle, and it's 12 minutes from downtown Seattle. The weirdest place, but a super kick-ass vibe to go up in the summer and just and go across and just hang out there and have like a little beach party right there. Totally kick-ass place. That gets my vote for best suburb in Seattle.
Now it makes me wonder how many islands there are up there. I haven't spent too much time in Seattle.
Oh, there's all kinds.
I don't really care.
There's lots of little pockets up there. You know what's not the best suburb? Bellevue.
Yeah, because they're crappy-ass Audi dealership.
That's right. Suck it, Bellevue.
I'm seeing over 170 islands off of the state of Washington.
And someone's saying, come to Vancouver. We have baseball and less homeless. We do.
Is that true, though?
What? We don't have baseball, but we do have less homeless.
Per capita?
Our homeless problem isn't that bad in Vancouver. We've done a much better job.
Okay.
But we do have less people. I mean, we're a city of a couple 100,000 people as opposed to a city of 2.5. You know, it would make sense that you have worse homeless problems, but you know, we have our own. We have a fair share. Yeah, I think people are on West Seattle. I think it's just what they call it. Next time you're up there, especially during the nice part of the year, book a half a day to go over to West Seattle and check out their waterfront. And you can walk it. It's a couple miles. You can rent the little scooters that go up and down. And I promise you'll walk away from there being like, why would anyone in Seattle not want to live over here as opposed to in the city?
Yes, but have you been to Bremerton?
Well, I mean, that goes without saying. Who doesn't want to be in Bremerton?
It's where my wife's dad used to live.
Yeah.
We went up there a lot.
Yeah.
Port Orchard.
Yeah, it's a controversial statement, but because we've talked about this, if you're doing best Portland suburb, I'll make a strong case for Vancouver. We are a suburb of Portland, and as far as location goes, cost of living, restaurants, a lot of stuff to do, ease of access, I think we do a pretty good job over there. I will throw Vancouver, Washington into the ring with any suburb in Portland. And some people may throw Laco at me, and I get it. Laco just has money. And if you want that, you know what's 2 minutes from Vancouver? Camas, which is just a very... like, if you ever want Laco Part 2, and with all the snobbery and all the uncomfortable racism and high-end homes, you can go to Camas and get the exact same thing. Same little quaint downtown with a lot of antique shops and one movie theater that shows like 2 films and a lot of brew pubs. Welcome to Camas.
All right, we'll wrap it up next on The Fan.
Seahawks football.